Afternoon. Now, it's still kind of hot and humid going through the afternoon, partly sunny skies, but that front could pop a couple of thunderstorms. 93 for the high. It gets better tonight. Some clouds, spot storms, 71. Even better Wednesday, sunny, lower humidity, lower temperatures, 89. Do that again on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor. And go on and do that. I have no issues with that at all. I wonder if the accountability is actually going to come to a head here with the testimony of, under oath, Dr. Fauci tomorrow that's going to take place on Capitol Hill. It is important, and I'm going to play that clip again throughout the course of the show. We've got Joe Concha coming on at 1:30, because when I asked yesterday, where do we even start with the questions about what happened with COVID? Because you can ask, was it intentional? Insertion is the word that Dr. Fauci uses in his diary. Or was it a natural occurrence where it went from animal to human, from some sort of unexpected transfer, so on and so forth? Where did it come from? When did they know the multiple possibilities of where it came from? And when they realized, as I read yesterday in a really well-articulated list that Senator Rand Paul, has on his X account page, just bullet points and a one sheet of, here are some important highlights for you to know. At the end of January of 2020, they were talking about, with the experts assembled, and early in February, the likelihood that there was a malicious escape from a lab, that there was an insertion, that this wasn't the wet market animal to human transfer, that it turns out Fauci and just two of the other people in this group of assembled minds were saying it was probably natural. They went from discussions where experts were saying there was a likely insertion into society. They went from a collective of experts suggesting that that's where they were leaning towards, to, you're not even allowed to talk about a lab leak. Why? The big question for me is why, but you do have to establish some understood and agreed upon facts before you can start asking whys. And Tom Bevan there, when you talk about collateral damage, Ryan, from COVID, there are people You can't have this conversation without also acknowledging there are people who died from COVID. There are people listening right now who lost loved ones because they caught COVID. Every year, there are people who die from or lose loved ones because of the flu or any other common cold virus that finds a host and ends up probably with, the word that we learned, one of the bold-faced words of the pandemic was comorbidity. COVID infects a person and they're elderly, they're overweight, they have some sort of immunodeficiency. There are other factors involved in the pairing with COVID that caused mortality. But we weren't allowed to talk about that. And in the midst of understanding that there were all these comorbidities, we're like, let's shut down schools and keep kids locked up in their homes and make sure that they're not around people at all. I mean, the extent that this was taken is so outrageous, certainly in hindsight, and mad respect to the many of you or of us who are out there saying something in the moment, in the time, questioning this as it went along. But Dr. Fauci is ground zero for intentional deception, not of just you or your community or the American people, globally. And he knows it because in his diary, he keeps talking about how big of a global celebrity he is. I don't know if, how many times, Ryan, have we seen, Fauci's going to be under oath and he's going to, Rand Paul's going to grill him. And then he just doesn't answer questions. And then it's over. And it's done. And then what? Nothing satisfying.
Yeah, but this is different because we have in his own words everything he was saying at the time that it was happening privately. This is a big deal to have the diary of Anthony Fauci starting in, I guess, 2019 at least, on because now he has to defend what he said publicly, which we have on record, and what he said privately, which we have on record, and we've never had that before.
I'm telling you, though, that he doesn't have to defend it because he will have to answer questions about it, but he's smart enough to understand how to speak after someone asks a question without giving the answer that is being sought after. This is where you have to have really, really well-studied, well-thought-out questioning. You have to ask questions where, just listen, folks, the response is going to start often with look or listen. Or the thing that you need to know is, which is a complete abdication of the question that's being asked and posed. Then you need to press them back. Well, they only get so much time. The witness at the hearing filibusters until that 5.5 minutes or whatever. I don't know how long the line of questioning will be. You filibuster until it's over, and then it's over. So he's got to not say anything. He's got immunity. But he has to tell the truth. So his immunity gives him the ability to answer truthfully without incriminating himself, which is what the Fifth Amendment is there for. But when you have immunity, you can't incriminate yourself. You're immune. You have to answer the questions.
And look, I'm not saying, look, I just did the same thing.
Are you going to talk about, like, the weather? It's real hot outside.
Look, there's other things that we could be discussing. However, I want to mention. Now,
and then you come back and vaguely touch the thing,
right.
the topic, but you never get anywhere. And as long as the questioner allows you to get away with that, tick, 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 time is running off the clock. They don't answer.
It's a strategy. He'll do it. My point is
I would
that
do it.
Tomorrow, the reason it's going to be a big deal is that he won't say anything. I'm not going to say that he's going to go out and go, you know what? I repent. I was wrong, and I have made myself right, and my soul is clean with the Lord. That's not. I doubt that's going to happen. But
I'm sure it's the pinnacle of what he's worried about.
That would be great. But
boy, would we have to humble ourselves.
But what will be on display is saying Dr. Fauci's own words from his diary back to the man sitting in front of
I
him.
really want Brandon Gill doing it.
Well, that'd be great too. But there's going to be some good questioners from. I mean,
the
will
Senate.
Hawley be talking about it? I'm sure Rand Paul will be.
Hawley and it's funny that you mentioned his name. Senator Hawley and Brandon Gill really have the same kind of tact. Oh, he's on right.
Yeah,
behind
he
you.
is.
Senator Hawley and Representative Gill from Texas have kind of the same approach, but Hawley is like, when he does it, it looks like, I know that I'm the smartest man in the room and you are not a match for my intellect, so I'm going to make you feel small. Brandon Gill is kind of sneaky about it.
He is. Hawley's like
Very humble.
I know what's going on here, and I'm going to ask you a question, and I know what you're going to say. Brandon Gill's like, fill me in.
There's something here that I don't seem to understand this. Can you?
Yeah, like I'm just a simpleton from the field.
White people have implicit bias. You're white. Hey, are you a racist?
Yeah, right. Is Mickey Mouse racist? I don't understand. What does this say?
It's so accurate. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. We'll talk more about it throughout the course of the show, but today's YouTube poll is about Fauci, of course, testifying tomorrow in front of that Senate committee. Now, Ryan, I think I don't even have to ask you the question to know it, but how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable?
Okay. Well, since the answers are could not care less, moderately interested, completely invested, and accountable, Fauci is a hero.
Hey, there is 3% of this audience that I care deeply about retaining.
Listen, whoever you are that's voting accountable, Fauci is a hero. I want to know who you are so that I can make fun of you for not paying attention to anything happening right now.
I have to tell you right now, we have 40 votes in, and could not care less, and Fauci is a hero are tied. And it's not at 0%.
Are you kidding me? Well, I'm making fun of you right now for not paying attention to the man contradicting himself publicly and privately, and you just don't care.
314-241-9797. Remember, those texts are going to Ryan's eyeballs
Yes, they are.
first.
So let's battle.
314-241-9797. He's going to be writing people's numbers down. I don't even think you can see. Well, I guess you can see the numbers. We want to know about your dedication to finding and holding Fauci accountable. Do you want it? We're going to break here very quickly. Congresswoman Mary Miller will join us in just a minute. We're going to get her reaction to the Fauci diaries, among a few other top news stories. Congresswoman Mary Miller next. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com, 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. When that basement starts to take on water, it's not just the water in your basement that's the problem. Of course, that foundation is in a state of degradation, and it needs to be repaired. It needs to be restored. The foundation of your home is everything, and you need to hire people who you can trust to make sure that the job is done right the first time. Get that waterproofing done in your basement with Home Shield Foundation Repair. If you call Matt Hayes at 314-271-9900, that's 314-271-9900, Matt Hayes will come assess your basement situation and give you an explanation of how he can fix it once and for all. You can read the reviews of satisfied customers online, of course, but you can call him directly and get the conversation started, learn a little about him, have him come see your basement and give you a quality assessment of what you're dealing with, and then you can make the choice then if you want to hire Home Shield Foundation Repair. 314-271-9900, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom, 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Hey, Stewie's here from Stewart's American Mortgage, and he continues with some amazing offers for potential customers this summer.
You know what, Mark? We talked about the 1% reduction when you're buying a house. You lock it in at 6.5%. You get 5.5%. We're going to extend that to certain kinds of refinances right now as well. If you have an FHA loan and you need to go to conventional because it's usually better, we're going to give you 1% lower for the first year as well. It's a great opportunity. Take advantage now. Cash out, rate and term refinances from FHA to conventional, 1% lower for the first year.
A lot of people are just on the sidelines. They were worried about the rate that they locked in originally, and they need cash from their house, though, right?
That's right. It's a great opportunity. Look to see what you're paying on those credit cards. If you need to go ahead and do some improvements to your house, this is a great time to do it. Don't use your credit cards. The APRs are 30%. Stay away from those high interest rate type of programs. Refinance, get one fixed rate. It's not adjustable. 1% lower for the first year.
Call or text Stewie on his cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're grateful for your time this afternoon here on 97.1 FM Talk. We're asking you on the YouTube live chat poll and the text line, how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? I'd love to ask that question of our next guest, Congresswoman Mary Miller. She represents Illinois' 15th District in the United States House of Representatives. Mary Miller, thank you for the time today. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to try to control my emotions and my anger about this. We all saw it when it was happening. It was demanded of us to deny reality when, it was easy that we could not connect the dots that they were, the narrative they were telling us about COVID and the whole treatment plan.
You know, Congresswoman, I'm thinking of maybe late February, early March that I think in Effingham. I believe you might have been there. There was a group, a rally of sorts your husband and other state representatives had to try to bring some common sense back to the conversation, as that group of legislators in the state of Illinois did. And it was, I think, the last public gathering that I went to was this Illinois common sense conservative movement. And then that was that forever in the state of Illinois. And it all comes back to Anthony Fauci. Our kids, our businesses, our livelihoods, all in the hands of the scientist, Anthony Fauci. What should happen next?
Throw the book at him. These are crimes against humanity on an unimaginable scale. And, Americans lost jobs. I remember a dad with 5 kids calling me. I believe he was a lineman. He did not want to take that vaccine. He had already had the virus. But I remember him saying to me, I feel choked up. He said, I only have a high school degree, and this is a really good job for me to support my kids. I don't want to take the vaccine. And he ended up taking it. And this was an experimental vaccine. Never before have I seen the medical establishment deny natural immunity like this, or ignore the risk factors for certain age groups, or just different different groups in general. People lost their jobs, businesses were closed. The damage that was done to our children. Yeah. I mean, our children were set back, closed churches, and cut us off from one another is shameful, terrible. And then the worst thing is that loved ones were separated and their loved ones died alone. Unbelievable. that this guy did this. He belongs in prison. And I think what's coming out and unfolding shows that he is an evil narcissist. And one of the things that I saw that he said about himself, first of all, he was so happy that he had a big front page article about me in the Washington Post. Very flattering. I got national, international fame. It's explosive. He said it's not hyperbole to say that today I, Anthony Fauci, in the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable persons in the world. Like, this guy is a nutcase. And not only that, he was the highest paid federal employee, $480,000. The guy was drunk with power, and somehow we allowed it to happen. Please, we can never forget. We can never, ever let this happen again.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Congresswoman Mary Miller speaking with us, Illinois' 15th District Representative. I don't think that we can ever fully measure the damage that was done by his very, very unwise guidance. But the diary shows that it was worse than a poor decision-making process. He was enamored with himself, obsessed with himself, a narcissist. Absolutely. I don't know that we needed the diary to really feel that, but we have read his words now, and we can certainly tell. Do you feel as though there is going to be some sort of conclusion, movement after this hearing that he is going to take place, that is going to take place? I feel very unfulfilled after a lot of these congressional hearings. It's like kind of a bickering slap fight, trying to watch, maybe some politicians make a political ad out of it down the road, and then it just kind of continues to sail on down the river. Is there anything that's going to come of this?
Okay. Well, I want to tell the people that congressional hearings are actually good because it peels back the layers and it shines a light on things that have been hidden, on the fraud and on the characters that have been controlling the levers of power in our country. And a lot of these hearings end up with referrals to the DOJ. And so there is a lot going on behind the scenes. We need more time. We have had a year and a half. For the first time in the history of our country, we have shrunk the government. We cut off USAID. We're unclosing all this fraud. People are being arrested, but it does take time. And we are working. We're making headway. And people have to show up and vote. I don't know what to say. There are foreign adversaries that are pretending to be conservative messengers. And also we have frauds on our side that for some reason want to hate President Trump or whatever. And they are trying to discourage the conservatives and the people that have common sense from wanting to be involved. They think their vote doesn't matter. We have to go vote. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Congresswoman Mary Miller speaking with us right now. Let me give you the opportunity to answer this question, Congresswoman. There is a clear difference between red and blue right now. I don't believe that there's really much intersection at all, at least in what the parties vocally stand for. There's nothing that Donald Trump can do that the Democrat Party would look at as a whole and say, we support that. There's no crossover. It doesn't exist. Going into, I think, 98 days till the midterm election, what's the stark contrast that you see up close and personal from Capitol Hill between what the Republicans want to bring to government and what the Democrats want to bring to government?
Well, we want a smaller government. We want transparency and accountability. We are about common sense. The border has been secured for the first time in 50 years, negative net migration. Millions of illegals are being deported. We have unleashed American energy, which everything goes back to energy. We want to restore, and we are making big headways in restoring law and order. We're standing up for parental rights for children, for our girls being able to participate in sports, for school choice and excellent public school education. All these things are the Democrats' agenda. Are the Republicans' agenda. The Democrats are literally kooks and communists. It will be a disaster if they get control again. I can't even stress to people enough. You have to go out and vote.
Yeah, Congresswoman, being a Republican in Congress from the state of Illinois, you're one of just a few who are there representing some common sense from the state of Illinois, from the voter. I want to ask you about the state election that's coming up here as well. I don't even really see J.B. Pritzker. It doesn't seem as though he's campaigning very hard. Of course, we have a Senate seat that is up as well because Dick Durbin is retiring. But there are a lot of local races that matter very much as well. If you're in the state of Illinois, if you're a resident in the state of Illinois, you probably feel dismayed. You probably feel a little bit hopeless. But in 98 days, when the midterm election is here, we can't afford to feel that right now. We have to stand up and do something. Talk to me or talk to the Illinois voter right now on what you want to see them do in order to try to wring some common sense out of this upcoming election.
Okay, if you don't show up to vote, for sure, Pritzker and his whole gang of kooks will be elected. It is a privilege and a responsibility for American citizens to do the minimum, and that is to inform yourself and go vote. And, if you aren't going to do the minimum, you cannot complain. And you're going to have to answer to your children and grandchildren, because the country that we enjoy now, being free, we are the most prosperous country in the world, even though people are complaining about the economy. We are the most prosperous country in the world. And actually, all the economic indicators are turning toward the positive side for American people having more money in their pocket, more spending power. But it takes a long time to turn the direction of the country after 4 years, well, really 12 years, because Joe Biden's 4 years was Obama's third term, basically continuing his dream of fundamentally transforming the country. It takes a while to turn it around. Please, I beg you, go out and vote and get involved.
Yeah, you talk about doing the minimum. Voting is the minimum. If you know of a candidate that you really want to support, or if you know of a candidate you really want to defeat, I'm going to tell you got to do more than the minimum. But bring a friend to vote, show up and talk to people in a compassionate way about why you feel the way you feel, and be a part of the solution. At least at the end, win or lose, you did what you could.
Yes, be a force multiplier. Talk to your friends and family and neighbors and get them out to vote. And we should, know at the precinct level how many ballots we need to bring in, and we need to make sure those people get them in. And you can donate money, you can make calls. There's a lot of things that people can do to help their candidates get elected.
That's exactly right. Congresswoman Mary Miller, thank you for always showing up here for your constituents on the East Side and for lending a voice to this show about what's going on in Capitol Hill. We're grateful for it.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Congresswoman Mary Miller, representative from Illinois' 15th District, on X at Rep. Mary Miller. When we break right now, we're going to go check the text line here in the next couple of minutes, because we asked you this question on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. You can vote youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. But we want your texts as well, your feedback, 314-241-9797 on the Annie Frey Show text line. Here's the question. How much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? Couldn't care less, moderately interested, completely invested, or accountable? Fauci's a hero. Take your Fauci underpants off and use some common sense and objectivity. Go vote. Send us a text. We'll be right back.
Corey, from Air Comfort Service? Why are you standing next to my AC?
I'm standing behind our work.
But it's 8 p.m. You're just going to stand behind my air conditioner?
Yeah, pretty much.
Could you turn off the sprinkler then?
Absolutely. At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation, we take pride in our work. If you need a new air conditioner or HVAC system, you can trust we'll install the equipment correctly. Plus, for a limited time, qualify for rebates up to $2,600 and 0% financing for up to 72 months. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Baron Mirror Glass and Door, simply the finest when it comes to glass, mirror, and shower doors. Why? That's easy. Our sales staff and installation team consists of decades and decades of knowledge, consistently keeping updated on all of the industry's newest and greatest ideas, which of course means you get the best advice along with the best installation. One trip to Chesterfield Valley will show you why our prices aren't the only reason to buy from us. That's Barron Mirror Glass and Door.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Every trip to the grocery store costs more. Insurance premiums keep climbing. You're working harder, but your paycheck isn't going as far. Missouri families deserve a state senator who's focused on making life more affordable. Mike Deering is fighting to lower costs for working families by cutting unnecessary regulations, reducing insurance costs through common-sense legal reforms, supporting good-paying Missouri jobs, and standing up for Missouri's farmers and small businesses. Mike Deering's conservative approach has earned the endorsement of the Missouri Farm Bureau and the Missouri Chamber PAC. Because Mike Deering will fight to strengthen Missouri's economy and help families keep more of what they earn. It's time for conservative leadership focused on lower costs, stronger communities, and a more affordable Missouri. Paid for by the Missouri Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kara Korchis, President and CEO.
Our YouTube live chat poll today asking you the question, how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? Your options are you could not care less, you're moderately interested, you're completely invested, or Fauci is your hero. Let us know which one of those categories you would fall into, and that is your vote for the YouTube live chat poll. It is 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. From Fenton to Fairview, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I don't know for sure, but I think the song was playing in the background while Fauci was writing in his diary about himself.
You could have a billion songs like that.
I know.
Watermelon Sugars.
He's looking like lovingly into the mirror.
Yeah.
Like
Just
Stuart Smalley, but not ironic.
Any love song would be perfect for that.
Probably a Beyonce song.
Yeah. The text line is blowing up on this topic, by the way.
The question on our YouTube poll, if you go to youtube.com/@AnnieFrey, hey, subscribe to my channel, please. I don't even care if you ever go there. Just subscribe. It'll be fun.
Yeah, like me.
You should start a YouTube channel.
I do have a YouTube channel. I just haven't posted anything in probably 10 years.
I bet it's longer than that. I bet
Maybe.
you don't realize that time has passed probably 5 years longer than you think.
That's probably true. That's probably right.
It's sad, isn't it?
15 years.
The YouTube poll for today. Also, the Annie Frey Show text line, 314-241-9797, open for your thoughts on how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable. Anything from you don't care at all, you care about it the most, to you think Fauci's a hero.
The text line suggests that people very much care about this. The first comment here that I've pulled up says, Fauci is a straight-up murderer responsible for thousands of deaths. He is a contradiction of himself. He wanted to close everything and stick with the vaccine without your doctor. There's obviously been issues with that since time. From what I've learned, Fauci needs to go to prison for a good long time. This person says, now stick with me because it's going to sound funny when I start reading this. It says, I've been giving him the praise he deserves for years. I only refer to it as the Fauci China virus.
It's not the China virus. It's the Fauci China virus
because they're equally responsible for its spread. That's from Chris. Shoot, a whole bunch of them just came in and just shifted my position away.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Let's say, this is Jack. I would love to see Fauci play. Sorry, the words are not written correctly, so I'm having trouble interpreting. I would love to see Fauci pay for his crimes against humanity and the rest of the people who perpetrated the largest fraud on the human race in history.
Let me throw something out there for you. I know it won't completely scratch the itch, but if Fauci's legacy is decimated, possibly the biggest punishment that he could personally intrinsically receive.
Oh, yeah.
Is that he is known for what he actually did.
Yes. Yes, and that's happening in real time right now. It just needs to break through. I was talking to my wife about this last night. She's a lot of times my gauge for how big is a story.
Yeah, completely. They're not in it every day.
No. And she said, I am the wrong person to ask because it is summertime for a teacher. She said, I am unglued.
She's reading books and enjoying the sun.
Yeah, she is. So she said, I have not heard of that story. But once I mentioned it at all, she said, ooh. And she really wanted to know.
About Fauci?
What's in the diary? What's he said that contradicted what he said publicly? And we talked about it for a good long while last night. At a date.
Where'd you go?
We went to a Mediterranean restaurant in Fairview Heights next to Red Lobster.
Not that this has anything to do with anything, but I don't think I would enjoy any of your dates. Every time you talk about going out with your wife, I'm like, that sounds awful.
Let me tell you the dishes.
But I mean, obviously, you guys have different interests. But, you know, I'm a meat and taters type of girl.
Well, we got labna and baba ganoush.
What?
So you would have been right at home.
I don't speak that language.
And hummus. You've probably heard of that.
I've heard of it. Don't want it.
And we got grape leaves filled with something.
This is all Greek food?
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean food?
Greek can be very Mediterranean, but
I don't like any of it.
This was probably the Lebanese version, is my guess.
See, that's when it comes to food, there is incredible, great food out there that I will never even try. And the thing about being somebody who's like I am, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with liking what I like. Don't need anyone else to change their menu, change their plans. I'll figure out what I'm going to do. But you really don't need me to try new things. People out there will be like, oh, you just got to try. Why do you care so much? Not you specifically.
I do care, though.
You're kind of that person, like if we socialize with each other, which we totally don't, then I could see you being like, you'll try it. You'll like it. I don't want to. And
But you should.
But no, I'm 42 and I can do what I want. I'm a grown woman.
Not saying you can't. I'm saying you should.
I should not. You should shut your mouth.
Not saying I should.
Do you have anything where people are telling you, like, you got to try it, Ryan? And you're like, I don't want to try it.
Yes,
I'm not sad about the fact that I'm not missing out on anything here. And I'm happy for you that you like to eat things that still have eyeballs. I am not interested.
Yeah.
Do you eat things with eyeballs?
They at one time would have had eyeballs.
No, I'm talking about still sticking around. Although, if I'm eating just like bean taters burger type of thing and start thinking about the animal's eyeballs, I'm out.
Fries don't have eyeballs.
That's right. The fries never let me down.
Well, actually, they do. Potatoes do have eyes. So think about that next time you're eating a potato.
But they're not balls. Fries don't. Potatoes don't have balls. They have eyes.
How do they reproduce then? I don't understand.
Storks.
The potato stork comes, brings baby potatoes.
Somebody draw a map of this segment. This started with Fauci, and then we're like, how do potatoes reproduce? What do people want you to try and do that you're like, I am completely content in not trying something?
Yeah. Two things. One is like repairing anything.
Like being the guy.
Being the guy, they want me to. I'm like, you know what?
I have a guy.
And when I absolutely have to, I'll do it. And so I'm learning because eventually I have to do stuff. But the other one, and this is the main one, and this has been my whole life. People, because they know I write and I read and I like fiction, they're like, oh, you gotta read Lord of the Rings. I'm like,
No, I don't.
I've tried reading The Hobbit.
See?
I don't like it.
Lord of the Rings for you, sushi for me.
It's not just sushi for you, though. It's all this other stuff we were just talking about.
If I knew other books that existed, I'd mention them now.
So Lord of the
don't.
Rings is the same for you, too, then.
Oh, gosh. Lord of the Rings. What did I do to you? What did I do to anybody who's like, let's watch that?
I don't mind. I like the movies. I like the story. I just don't like fantasy literature very much.
This is a really good point to mention that at 2:30 we'll be doing X's and Y's.
Yes.
Because I know you're out there. I know that there are women out there who love Lord of the Rings. You're into it. I don't think it's I don't really believe all those women. Believe all women.
You think that women are making that up to be cool?
Oh, no, I don't think it's to be cool. I think that's something you lie about when you're dating because you really like the guy.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Women do that. Men do that. Men do a lot of stuff dating. Feign interest in things because they like her.
I promise you, I never did that.
Oh, that's not true.
I never did that.
I will ask your wife.
Yes, please.
Also, there are things
she probably
that you
wishes I would have done it.
There are probably things that you reluctantly participated in because you liked her that you realized weren't so bad. That doesn't mean that you become a huge fan of it.
That's true.
But you do it because you like her.
Yes.
Because A, it's going to make her happy, and that's important. But B, keeps you in the game.
That's how I got into indie music, and by got into it, I mean went for the girls and didn't like the music.
Girls?
Yeah. Girls.
Not your wife?
Well, eventually my wife, but at the time it was just girls. And I would go to these
you were like,
indie
the
concerts.
girls are there.
Yeah.
I can stand indie music.
Yeah, they're like, let's go see Shiner. And I'm like, oh.
Is that how you say China, but in the South?
Yeah, Shiner. You know where that virus came from is Shiner.
That old China virus. That could be a new country song.
Like just listening to these droning guitars, and I'm like, these girls are pretty hot, though.
Did you meet her at a concert?
Yeah, we kind of did. Yeah, that was the first time we met. We didn't start dating right then, but that's the first time I ever laid eyes upon her.
Yeah. Did you pick her?
No, we didn't really like each other at first.
I can't imagine why.
Because I was not willing to bend at all.
I think you are something that she decided to stand and give it a shot. And she's like, it's so bad. I'll stick around.
I accept that.
Wiggins America next. Things in your home that are dirtier than your toilet seat? What?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, you're reading the topic for the first time, obviously.
I am. And if I would have read it earlier, I might have been like, how about something else?
Nope.
Wiggins America next. Point Pest Control, point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. If you have a pest problem in your home, at work, you need Point Pest Control. 636-798-0023. That's 636-798-0023. They were just at my home. It reminds me I have to pay that bill. They were just at my home. They treat the outside. They'll treat the inside. If you're a subscriber like I am, quarterly treatments that are completely safe for the pets, the kids, yourself, everything in your home, everything but the pests, they come and ensure that you don't have to deal with pests. It's an incredible peace of mind to know that you're not going to have to worry about this issue. If you've got a business that you're running, of course you need it to be pest-free. They service so many different businesses, restaurants around the bi-state area. Why not have yours be next? Call Point Pest Control at 636-798-0023. That's 636-798-0023. And you can look them up online as well at pointpestcontrol.com.
Mark Cox here. Don't be fooled by those deceptive ads you're hearing on Missouri Amendments 4 and 5. Get the truth. I'll explain all of the amendments and key local races. Download my August voter guide at 971talk.com.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code. written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! So, most commonly, you would say, I would never eat food off of a toilet seat, and that'd be correct. You should not do that. Don't come away from this segment thinking that I told you otherwise. But I am going to tell you that researchers looked at the family of bacteria that includes Salmonella, E. coli, and other indicators of potential fecal contamination on more than, several, maybe dozens of different surfaces throughout your house to find out, are any of them more or less dirty than your toilet seat as far as possible fecal contamination or the bacteria that considered to be part of that. Any items that you think, Annie, right away would jump to the top of your list to be like the dirtiest things in your house?
Your phone.
Your phone is not technically considered part of your house.
I don't know, but it's disgusting.
But that would be acceptable. That's not on this list.
Your remote?
Usually, but that's also not considered to be a surface in your house.
A surface?
Yeah, we're talking about, I guess it does include certain things in your house.
What do you got?
But we've got the items that people would have assumed were the dirtiest.
Light switches?
Light switches is on the list. Things that you just said are all assumed to be dirty.
Railings.
Remote controls, railings, money, toothbrush holders, things in your bathroom that get used a lot, too clean. Just things like your countertop were assumed to be dirty. And doorknobs, I think that's kind of part of the light switches and things like that. All of them some of them are on the list, but they're not the top. So here's the actual dirtiest items in your house, and then we can talk about how to avoid eating off of these things. Like the first one is your cutting board.
Ew.
Yeah, because it just doesn't get cleaned as often, and it sits there.
Why not? Also, ours does not sit out.
Yours doesn't?
No.
You put it away?
Yes.
Because that's part of the problem is that it's always out, and then you might use it quickly and then not clean it for something that doesn't seem like it's that dirty.
I have a lot of bleach and Lysol bottles that just sit out in all the rooms. It's like, hey, you pass it, clean it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have 4 kids and 2 dogs. I can't even keep up.
This list is either not going to be true for you or
It's
you're
gonna
going
make me
to freak
crazier.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to go one or the
That's
other.
probably the one.
Stove knobs. They are things you touch a lot. Your hands are usually kind of dirty with food when you're touching them, but you don't think to clean them. Now you will.
I spray the whole thing down, but I don't do the knobs as much as I would do the surface.
Your countertop is on the list.
Yeah, countertops get wiped down a lot.
Ours do too, but I hate admitting this, but do your kids ever use the counter just as the plate?
I don't think so.
Man, mine do. They'll just make a sandwich, and they're just making it on the counter,
No,
and they just eat it.
What we do is the classy paper towel that you might eat a sandwich off of.
That's very classy considering we don't do anything.
Yeah, relatively. We are currently in a big paper plate phase.
We are too.
It's not the greenest thing that we do, but there are so many dishes all the time, and paper plates bring that back a little bit. I was making some leftover pasta last night, and I'm like, where are the paper plates? They're like, we're out. And I'm like, I'm putting pasta on a paper towel. I didn't, but I actually had the thought for a second, would that work? No, it wouldn't. Okay. So I had to get a plate.
That's why we make sandwiches and pasta on the counter, because we're so green.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to save the planet.
Yeah, you're eating on fecally covered countertops.
Yeah, that's
gross.
True. According to this article, they're just covered in poop.
Oh, my God.
Next one is pet toys.
Ew.
Do you think about that when you play with your dog? Do they have toys?
Yeah, I wish that Winnie would stick to the toys.
Oh, yeah?
She'll play with anything. She'll pick up, if one of the girls leaves a headband or something laying on the floor, she picks it up and she does the dog thing where she...
Yeah, she's killing it.
But she, she'll throw things multiple times, has landed things on the mantle.
Oh, she throws them with her head?
But they're projectiles.
That's cool.
No, because I've been hit by them before, and it's
like she's playing fetch with herself.
She's like 11 pounds.
Yeah.
She's tiny. But if she's playing with something and she's, as you mentioned, dog killing it, you're in danger.
I love that. When I see a dog doing that, I'm like, yeah, kill that squirrel.
And then it goes flying and knocks something off of the mantle, and then I'm sad.
Man, the only times my dog ever killed, we had a St. Bernard. That was a lazy dog. Now, she would once in a while, though, get into something in the yard and sniff
Go
something
nuts.
down and really go after it. And one time, I think it was only once, she came back with a little dead baby bunny.
Oh.
And she was so proud.
Hi, Dad.
Look what I did.
I'm a murderer.
We had to say, wow, that's great,
No, you
Bailey.
didn't.
We did, because if we had shamed her for it, she would have never done it again. And I was glad to see her getting back to her roots as a dog.
Somewhere, there's a family of bunnies that's like, now it's war.
Yeah. Although they didn't accomplish anything, because that bunny family never did anything to us. Other surfaces and things in your house that are actually dirtier than your toilet seat. Bathroom faucet handles.
Yeah.
These are other things you don't really think to clean as much. Like you clean your sink, but how often do you clean the handle? A lot. Okay, fine.
But again, if you have the Lysol stuff, get the purple bottle. It smells so good. But if you get that, and I just spray everything. Even if I forget to wipe it down, at least it's got...
Your mirrors and everything? You're just spraying the room?
The mirrors, I will have the Windex out. I have cleaning stuff out.
Man.
It's in eye shot.
I don't know whether I'm impressed or saddened.
You can be either. It's okay with me.
The coffee reservoir. Do you guys use a coffee machine?
Yeah, they do. I don't drink it.
So that apparently doesn't get cleaned very often.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I know this from doing coffee at church sometimes. Those things do not get cleaned.
It's like when you find out about a fast food restaurant, how often they clean their ice area.
Oh, man.
I don't
or
even like
hotels.
to think about that. Ugh.
Yeah, hotel ice machines. I'm not like that, but even I sometimes I'm like, ugh. I don't know.
Once I've thought the thought, it's over for me.
Mhm.
Sometimes I can get past it and not even realize that I'm doing something that I will potentially regret when I consider it.
I'll try to fit these last few in here. Pet bowl, of course, is another one. Your toothbrush holder did make the list. That's something that you don't clean very often, but you should because you're putting it in your mouth.
I have an electric toothbrush and it sits on a high shelf.
Hey, you've got it all figured out. This article wasn't for you.
Our house is filthy.
It's
filthy.
apparently very clean.
Well, it's because I have to be this way.
And the last two are your kitchen sink. That's one you kind of do think about. And then the last one, the number one on the list, is your dish sponge / rag.
Yeah, I bet.
Very dirty.
Get the Bon-Ami for the kitchen sink area. Man, throw that it's barkeeper's friend type of stuff down. Perfect. Let's talk to Victoria Coates and Joe Concha next.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group, to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet August 11th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, August 11th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you're a business or brand that's still paying for ads people skip or ignore, that's cute. Try a new method of advertising your customers can't mute. Join our mobile movement so you don't get left in our dust, because stationary billboards are a bust. Big, bold, loud, and in-your-face advertising that doesn't wait for traffic. We drive through it, bringing your business or brand right to your customers' eyes. You can't delete it. You can't trash it or swipe right. Hell, you can't even ignore it. The answer? The moving billboards, baby. We circulate around any high-traffic venue, capturing people's attention when they're making decisions. Inside stadiums, big brands compete for attention, but outside the stadium, we own the street media. Because in a world that's went mobile, your advertising should too. Try moving billboards. They really work. PinkTiger.ai.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. The $5,000 sweepstakes is back with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. Since 1926, celebrating 100 years. The genuine, the original Overhead Door. That's where winners go.
For men over 50, staying healthy shouldn't feel complicated. Neovitin Men's 50 Plus is a doctor-formulated daily multivitamin designed to support everyday wellness with just 2 tablets a day. You can subscribe at neovitin.com for convenient monthly delivery right to your door, or find Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Deerbirds or Schnucks. All Neovitin vitamins are manufactured in a GMP-certified facility in the USA and are designed for real, everyday routines. Make nutrition easy with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
A celebration of life. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just beginning at Washington's National Cathedral for Lindsey Graham. President Trump will be among those paying tribute to the late senator after an earlier ceremony in the Capitol Rotunda, where Vice President and former Senator J.D. Vance said Graham could disagree without being disagreeable.
I choose to remember Lindsey Graham as a person who could fight with you on one issue, but fight for you on another issue.
Adding that because Graham loved people, he was willing to reason with them and respect them. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte telling Fox.
He was tough, but he was also extremely kind, a real human being. So yes, he will be missed. He was an important person, a force for good on the world stage.
Ukraine's president and Israel's prime minister traveled to Washington for today's funeral, and they each met with President Trump earlier today. The White House calling both meetings positive and productive as a pause in U.S. strikes on Iran continues. President Trump still insisting the U.S. controls the Strait of Hormuz, telling Fox and Friends a blockade of Iranian ports is powerful.
We opened the blockade because we had the confines of a deal, so we did it. And then we put it back because they broke the deal. They break the deal. We cannot have them break deals anymore. Right.
Iran remains publicly defiant.
Yesterday, the president appeared optimistic about the possibility of a deal, as reports indicate Oman presented a proposal to Iran that would open the Strait of Hormuz. We do know from July 24th to the 26th, 29 vessels passed through this critical waterway, according to international shipping data.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. A convicted killer just put to death in Florida for the rape and murder of an 11 7-year-old girl. James Duckett was an ex-cop who denied committing the on-duty crime in 1987. His death, the first of a rare double execution scheduled in Florida today. The U.S. Supreme Court denying separate requests to stop either one. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
There is good news as a cool front comes through as we go through the afternoon. Now, it's still kind of hot and humid going through the afternoon, partly sunny skies, but that front could pop a couple of thunderstorms. 93 for the high. It gets better tonight. Some clouds, spot storms, 71. Even better Wednesday, sunny, lower humidity, lower temperatures, 89. Do that again on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Not sure if you should repair or replace an aging air conditioner? Check out the free repair or replace tool from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/repair or replace.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
For the sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So I think we have a very strong position right now. They know I'm going to do that if they don't make a deal. The bridges are going to be gone. Literally in less than, I would say in 2 hours, most of the bridges, the major bridges will all be gone. And the power plants in 1 day. And if I can avoid doing that, I'd like to do that. The hardest thing to build is a power plant. The longest thing to build is a bridge. Takes a long time to rebuild and build bridges. And that's what I used to do for a living, construction. It takes years to build these things. And, and knock them out in 1 hour, and it takes many years. It really decimates a country. So those are the two big things. And then there's always the desalinization plants. And who am I hurting there? I'm hurting the people. So I'm not looking to do that. I just want, very simply, they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
President Trump speaking with Fox and Friends about the bridges and the nuclear power plants, these types of targets for the United States to continue their campaign. They came back to bombing for quite a few days here and have for the last handful of days put that on pause. So what happens next in the conflict with Iran? Let's speak to our guest. Victoria Coates joins us once again, Vice President of Heritage's Catherine and Shelby Cullum Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy, also the former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Donald Trump. Victoria, thank you for being with us once again. It's a pleasure to have you back.
Of course, Annie. Good to talk to you.
So can you just set the table for us right now on where we are in this conflict right now? The president is very consistent. No nuclear weapons for Iran. And then maybe the tied for first addendum to that original point was open the Strait of Hormuz. How is the president doing right now in working to accomplish those things?
Well, I think we're actually doing, contrary to what you might hear on the legacy media, quite well incrementally moving toward those big overarching goals. And so what is the 13 days you were talking about, the additional strikes did, is it demonstrated to Iran that they haven't rebuilt. They haven't regained the capabilities that they had 4 months ago. And we can continue to strike them wherever and whenever we please. And so, that has further degraded their military capacity, their ability to communicate, some of their infrastructure. And it's making the situation worse and worse inside the country. And that's where I think we're really making progress, is their economy is spiraling out of control. I got some numbers over the weekend that they're at something like 88.6% inflation. I mean, imagine in the United States, I mean, if we hit 5% inflation, there's a collective meltdown, and food is at 134% inflation. So just, compounding economic problems they can't fix in their weakened state. So I think, yeah.
Go ahead. Go finish your point. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I think that the president's patient and is willing to let that pressure just grow because, as I said, there's nothing they can do about it.
I love that you just said you think that the president is patient, because I feel like that's not a word that his detractors certainly, that's a complimentary word. So, of course, they wouldn't say that about President Trump. But if president were impatient, can you tell us what that might look like as a contrast to how he actually is approaching the conflict?
I think if he were, as described, desperate for any deal to get onto the midterms, if that were true, he would have struck a bad deal, an Obama-style deal. I mean, that deal is there. You could go into something similar, JCPOA, 2.0 or light or however you want to call it. And that's, I was, dirty little secret, I participate in some bipartisan foreign policy closed-door sessions, and all of the Democrats 6 weeks ago were just saying, we all know that's what's going to happen. Like, no, he's not Obama. He doesn't want any deal for any deal's sake. And the other thing he could do, if he were impatient, is engage in the kind of shock and awe-style bombing that folks have been urging him to do to take out the infrastructure, the bridges and the power plants, because that will be so hard to build back. But he has a heart for the Iranian people. He doesn't want to do that to them. He's hopeful that we can, build leverage over time. We've demonstrated the willingness to do the kinetic action and get to the deal he wants that way, rather than by those two impatient paths.
So we're speaking with Victoria Coates, Vice President of Heritage Foundation's Catherine and Shelby Cullum Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy. It felt like there was a big pause, a big hope for diplomacy that the president was very much so invested in. At this point in the conflict, to me, it almost feels like they had to publicly try that, run it out as much as they possibly could. Maybe they knew how it was going to go in the end, but if they didn't actually try it, didn't actually try to give Iran the opportunity to come to some common sense here and be diplomatic about it, that doing what they actually have to do in the end to make Iran see reason or move past the point where they don't have any choice but to see reason, that the diplomacy was a necessary step in this process. Do you feel as though they knew that that wasn't going to work, that the Iranian leaders, whomever they might be at the time, weren't going to come to the table and say, you're right, we were wrong, let's move forward together? Did the administration understand that that's the way that was going to be at the time?
Oh, they certainly did. From my conversations with them, nobody was holding out much hope, but they definitely thought it was worth a shot, because self-preservation can be a very powerful motivator in these situations. And if that somebody might say inside Iran, hey, I want to save what little I can. I want to save my family. I'm going to, try to cut a deal with the Americans. That's still on the table. That could still happen. But it hasn't happened yet. And the other thing we're watching very closely from Heritage is splits within the Iranian regime. So we seem to have two factions emerging. One, the very hardline IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This is just one piece of the Iranian military, the most ideological, the most extreme, that they seem to be the ones saying, no, we're going to, go down with the ship. We're going to fight to our last civilian that we're going to slaughter. But then you have the more pragmatists in the government who are saying, hey, we don't have the money or wherewithal to pursue the nuclear program right now anyway. Why don't we satisfy the Americans and go forward? So maybe we also need to wait and see which faction emerges as the decision maker inside Iran.
Victoria Coates speaking with us right now. Just, I like to give people like you who are so well-versed, who, as you mentioned, you're in the closed-door meetings and you're also in the open forums where this is being discussed. And I really like to present to you the counterpoint that is being made by the left, the detractors. And from one of our comments right now that is listening to this discussion, they said the JCPOA looks like a great deal this afternoon. Iran didn't have weaponizable uranium and the Strait of Hormuz was wide open. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
Unfortunately, I don't think it's exactly what that commenter wants it to be. So the JCPOA preserved Iran's right to start incrementally enriching uranium at a higher and higher percentage. It did not end their pursuit of a nuclear bomb. And we knew in 2018, when the nuclear archive was revealed by Israel, that they had preserved and kept secret under very tight security the plans for nuclear weapons that they had procured. Now, if they never wanted a nuclear weapon, which is how they negotiated the JCPOA, why didn't they hand all that over during the negotiations? What a demonstration of good faith that would have been. But they didn't. They kept it secret. And so once that was revealed, we knew that was their intent all along. And it made the JCPOA meaningless because it was over. It ended in 2025. It was a 10-year deal. So at this point, had we stayed in that deal, they could be off to the races. What we did was put so much pressure on them during the first term that they didn't have the resources to do that. And you can look at when they started installing all of the highly sophisticated centrifuges necessary to get to weapons grade uranium enrichment. That started in 2021 when the sanctions came off, or the Biden folks stopped enforcing the sanctions. So I don't think the JCPOA was a great deal by any stretch of the imagination, nor do I think it was working.
Yeah, I appreciate your response to that because it's a simple retort that's often thrown out in conjunction with this conflict, but very little substance usually follows in the discussion as to why or why not. So that's why we have you here, because you know. Before I let you go, today is, at this very moment right now, the National Cathedral in Washington is receiving the body of late Senator Lindsey Graham. And it's quite a spectacle. I think the United States Senator is very deserving of someone who has given his service to this country in the way that Senator Graham has. I did note that as they were showing the visuals of this event taking place before the actual service began, there was a group of people having a discussion on the floor that included Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, Bibi Netanyahu, of course, with Israel. Zelensky is there. Marco Rubio is there. And I'm just thinking, 5 minutes on the floor at a cathedral right now. They looked intent in their discussions. There's a lot going on with just those individuals in that collection right there. And I'm just wondering, do you feel as though any of these sorts of conflicts, of course, Ukraine, Russia, Iran, everybody else in the Middle East who has kind of taken the side of the United States against Iran, does a conversation take place on the floor here that has any sort of measurable impact on what happens tomorrow after the service is over?
Oh, I think absolutely. And, you know, it's a very somber day. Senator Graham was a friend and a very congenial guy. I used to work for Senator Cruz. They had such disagreements over policy matters. But Senator Cruz is there today. I just saw him in the crowd along with many, many senators, obviously the entire cabinet and others, OMB director, that kind of FBI director. And, you know, this is just such a tribute, as you said, to Senator Graham's service, a life of service, both to his family, his state, and his country. And, you know, he did a lot of good. And bringing four principals together like that and having them say, hey, let's have a quick meeting. Let's get on the same page. You know, that's incredibly beneficial. And we had the meeting with Netanyahu and President Trump earlier today. I'm not sure if the Zelensky meeting has happened yet or not, but, you know, that's super helpful to get those guys here. In many ways, it's Senator Graham's last gift to President Trump.
Oh, well said. Victoria Coates, we're grateful for your time today. Thank you for lending your expertise to our conversation.
Thank you, Annie. Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. Vice President of Heritage Foundation's Catherine and Shelby Cullum Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy. Also former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Donald Trump. We'll break. When we come back, check in on the text line. 314-241-9797. Have you answered this question? How much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? You invested in this or not? 314-241-9797. Send us your text and vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. We'll be right back.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you can all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if you know, I know this is tough, but if your system has not been keeping up with your house for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that, if you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
There's no other country in the world because they're crooked. There's no other country in the world because they're crooked. They pass through too many hands. When you go to a voter booth, even me, I went to vote. Sir, may I please see your identification? Sir, I'm so embarrassed. I know you're Trump. Please, do you have some identification? I don't want to lose my job. I whipped out, I was lucky, I had some kind of a card on me, and I didn't even know, but I gave it, thank you, sir. So I'm so embarrassed. She kept apologizing. I said, don't apologize, you're doing your job. That's what you're supposed to be doing. It was so beautiful.
President Trump got carded when he went to vote.
Really?
In Florida.
In Florida, okay.
Yeah. They said, sir, I need to see your ID. And she says, I know you're President Trump. It's like being 40 and going to Applebee's and they're like, can we use some identification? You're like, oh, bless you. Here you go.
No, that's great to hear, though.
Yeah. But how do you not If it's the law, it's the law. You can't not.
Yeah,
the chief executive.
that's
you
the
can't.
point.
You can't not do.
Nobody's
that,
above
then.
the law.
Nobody's above the law. Not even Donald Trump.
Right.
We've been saying it the whole time.
We have been saying it the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to try to pull. Can you pull the? Hey, can you push the TV up real quick? They're singing "How Great Thou Art" at Lindsey Graham's funeral. I got to hear this. Man, is there a better hymn?
I don't know. It's one of the top 3. I can't even tell you what the other 2 are, but
You're just giving,
making
leaving
sure
room.
there's a possibility that I could change my mind.
I don't think there's a better hymn. Do you have a rendition of "How Great Thou Art" that sticks out to you? I have one.
There is one by of all. Somebody somewhere is going to hear that name and go, "Oh yeah," by Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Oh, I know Tennessee.
Oh, you do?
Ford. Yeah.
Okay. That I like. My dad got me a CD several years ago of Tennessee Ernie Ford.
It's a total dad CD.
Isn't
to
that?
get.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
I thought I'd like it, and I did.
It's like I know that my grandparents and I know my father-in-law really love the Statler Brothers.
Okay.
I appreciate and respect the Statler Brothers because I remember my grandparents loving the Statler Brothers. So my husband, Jared, he also loves the Statler Brothers because he kind of grew up with it, with his dad liking that kind of music. And when we were dating, I'd have Christmas playlists or whatever that I would listen to on Spotify or whatever it was at the time. And he'd like always stick a Statler Brothers song in the middle of my workout or something like that. So Statler Brothers always kind of make me chuckle. The best, if you're a "How Great Thou Art" fan, the best rendition of "How Great Thou Art" that maybe has ever been done. And if I'm wrong, tell me how I'm wrong so that I can hear one that's even better, is Vince Gill and Carrie Underwood.
Also very good.
Unbelievable. President Trump is taking to the podium here speaking. Let's listen in to his words.
Vice President Vance, members of the Cabinet, members of the House and Senate, distinguished guests, Darlene, and the entire Graham family. We love you all. Today we gather in the deepest gratitude and profoundest sorrow to honor a beloved friend, a devoted brother, a respected statesman, a giant of the United States Senate, and a true American original who left us much too soon. And that can only be the one and only Lindsey Graham. By the strength of his steadfast convictions, the force of his magnetic personality, and the goodness of his noble soul, Lindsey rose from a small town in rural South Carolina, a place he loved so much, to become a constant fixture of American politics at the highest level, and a force to be reckoned with all over the world. For more than 30 years, nothing of consequence happened in this Capitol without Lindsey Graham knowing about it. Nothing of significance happened anywhere in the world without Lindsey Graham having a view on it. And no bill became law in the most exceptional republic in human history without Lindsey Graham having a say in it. He was a man who gave America the full measure of his good and mighty heart until that heart itself just gave out. But even though Lindsey's life was cut short while he was still so full of vim and vigor, there can be no doubt that he lived absolutely to the fullest. He died doing the work he was born to do. He was truly a great politician. serving the country he loved to serve so deeply. He went out at the peak of his career, at the top of his game, as a legend that every one of us, many of us here today, are blessed to know him, and a friend that none of us will ever forget. There was truly nobody like Lindsey Graham. It was his hometown of Central South Carolina that Lindsey first learned the art of politics. His parents ran a bar and pool hall on Main Street with a room in the back where the family spent and had to do. As Lindsey said, his father taught him the key to being a successful bar owner is that you have to be funny enough that people will keep coming back, and that you have to be tough enough that you can stay in business and thrive. A very difficult combination. For his entire storied career, that's exactly who Lindsey Graham was. He was the first person to make you laugh, and one of the last people that you've really ever wanted to fight. These were the traits that made him into one of the great figures in Senate history. Few like him. As a boy, Lindsey also learned his first lessons in diplomacy when the wife of one regular patron called the bar asking for her husband. She demanded to know, where is he? The man instructed Lindsey, tell her I'm not here. And young Lindsey nodded and said into the phone to the wife, he said to tell you that he's not here. That was Lindsey. When Lindsey was just 20 years old, he lost his mom to cancer. 15 months later, he lost his dad. Their deaths left his 13-year-old sister, Darlene, an orphan. But in God's mercy, she had her wonderful brother to take care of her. On top of it all, Lindsey became her guardian while still in college and helped raise her. He later said that for all his achievements, and he had many, his single proudest accomplishment in life was how well Darlene turned out. He had total respect and love for Darlene.
President Trump speaking right now at the funeral of Senator Lindsey Graham, offering a eulogy there at the National Cathedral in Washington. We'll continue to monitor that story as it develops. We will break right now and come back with Joe Concha is going to join us to talk about the Fauci hearing that is going to take place starting tomorrow and see how he feels about the outcome of this. This is what we want, right? Accountability. That's what we're asking in the YouTube poll. How much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? And do you think it's ever really going to happen? You got to comment on the Annie Frey YouTube channel or text us on the Annie Frey Show text line. I should say and or 314-241-9797. Joe Concha on the Annie Frey Show next.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim, and if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesidearty.com today to start your dream renovation.
Stewie is here from Stewart's American Mortgage. And Stewie, things are kind of heating up in the Middle East. Rates are inching up. people are on the sidelines. What do they need to know right now?
You know what, Mark? We believe very, very strongly that interest rates ultimately are going to drop back. Hopefully this mess in the Middle East will be over. Oil prices will drop back and interest rates are going to drop down. Now, if you're sitting by the sidelines and saying, hey, interest rates are high, I can't afford the house right now. If you wait until interest rates drop, there are going to be more people bidding on that house. You're going to have higher prices. Not the way to go. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you 1% less for the first year. That means you lock the rate at 6.5%. You're paying 5.5% the first year. We believe rates are going to go down that low. This gives you the opportunity to go ahead and buy the house at the right price. A year from now, you can refinance for free with the bagel loan. Bam, you got the house of your dreams.
Don't miss out on this amazing offer. Call or text Stewie on his cell phone, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, or Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Have you heard those ads claiming Amendment 4 stops conservative amendments?
That's not true. It actually stops a couple big cities from pushing radical ideas into our Constitution. Remember 2024? Only 8 out of 114 counties voted to allow transgender surgeries on children.
That's terrifying. We can't let just a handful of counties rule the whole state.
Exactly. Amendment 4 requires broad statewide support and keeps foreign money out of our elections. Vote yes on 4 this August 4th.
You convinced me. I'm voting yes too.
Paid for by Freedom Principle MO, Missouri First PAC, Kate Sickles, Treasurer.
We've been asking you today, how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? Could you not care less? Are you moderately interested in this? Are you completely invested, or is Fauci your hero? Here's a comment from the text line 314-241-9797. It says he needs to be held accountable. Remove his citizenship and send him to a country that can prosecute him.
I wonder if we can get that past the courts.
Says James. We'll see. Hey, we'll find out tomorrow. Well, we won't find that out tomorrow, but we'll find out more tomorrow. It'll be this 1:33 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
250 years of capitalism, private ownership, and rugged individualism. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
He's going to testify in front of Rand Paul's committee this week. He has immunity against all of the things that he did prior to President Biden signing, or the electronic pen signing his pardon, but he could perjure himself now. So there are many things that he said that we know are lies, and Rand Paul presumably is going to ask him about those things. And if he lies again, then he could be subject to perjury prosecution.
There you have RFK Jr. speaking yesterday about the pending testimony that we're going to witness with Anthony Fauci. And, never estimate these people's ability to come be a witness and to not answer any questions. Will we get answers to the questions that we want answers to tomorrow? Dear Diary, Joe Concha joins us once again, Fox News contributor, radio show host, and author of The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. Joe, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Hi. How are we doing?
I'm doing okay. We're pretty excited that Fauci's diary is out and we can have black and white print to how much of a narcissistic hypocrite he is. But I'm not holding my breath that we're going to, get some sort of really satisfactory conclusion here. What do you think?
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Do you keep a diary?
No.
No.
Why do we?
Who does that?
Why are we writing these things down?
Thank you.
I don't get it. Do you keep a diary?
Well, no.
Just about our
You know
conversation.
what I do? I take videos of my kids, as far as soccer, as far as me coaching them, as far as everything that goes on in our lives, right? That's my diary.
Amen.
Videos, photos. I do calendars every year of the kids, but I would never, ever, sit down at 10 o'clock and be like, hey, here's my diary. Especially if I'm Anthony Fauci, the things he wrote were damning beyond belief, Annie.
Yeah, I think to myself, even when I'm writing emails, we live in a time where the email that you write better be okay to be read in public or by the people who are not involved in the email chain. Anybody should be able to read that, and you should be able to stand by your words. To write down all of these like self-affirmations when the world was reeling, people were dying because I don't think we knew how to treat this. And you're like, gosh, they think I'm great. What does that tell you? Here's the question. Does it tell you anything about Anthony Fauci you didn't already think before you read his entries?
The ultimate narcissist, right? And in the end, he is texting Jake Tapper, Dana Bash. We have several people from the Washington Post that he is texting, talking about how, wow, your coverage of me is great. This is awesome. And oh, by the way, make sure that you don't ask me any really, really hard questions, because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, what do you think about the entries, having dinner with Jake Tapper and his wife, friendship building while all this is going on, and knowing that they're having conversations, that Jake Tapper thinks that Trump is, whatever the pejorative was that he called him. What kind of conflict of interest is somebody who watches the media all the time, Joe? Does that tell you with the way the government and the media were working hand in hand?
Well, I think that if you're Jake Tapper, you're Dana Bash, you're anybody that worked in media that texted Anthony Fauci the way they did, should be fired. Like, that's it.
Do you think that the lack of coverage, I think I saw a CBS report. They did cover a little bit of the Fauci diaries, but a lot of these other big networks, the left-leaning favorable networks, are not weighing into this. Is that because they are part of the story?
Of course. They're complicit, right? ABC, CNN, NBC, CBS, all of them. Completely and totally glazed, as my son used to tell me. That's a thing where, you don't want to do that. In the end, yeah, that's what happened.
We're speaking with Joe Concha, Fox News contributor, author of The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. I'm curious if you think that there's anything are they gonna get anything out of this? We discussed here that we think maybe the worst thing that could happen to Anthony Fauci, by way of what we now know about his diary entries, is that his legacy is tarnished, and maybe he isn't viewed as the hero that many people thought he was. Is that the end of it for us?
Well, it depends on, how you vote, right? So on the left, he will still be seen as a absolute superhero. On the right, obviously, he's going to be seen as somebody that should be in jail. Mm-hmm. So, but in the end, does anything happen to any? No, nothing happens.
Yeah. Do you think that with the immunity that he has, he's going to go in front of this hearing? He's going to be sworn in. The immunity gives him cover to not be prosecuted for any crimes starting in 2014, is the way that Biden wrote this like Biden wrote it. Pardon for Anthony Fauci that had to do with his job, his position with the Health Services Department. So do you think that he's going to tell the whole truth? Is he going to filibuster these questions? He can't lie. Just because he has immunity, he can't go up there and lie now.
Every time, Annie, we've seen with whether we're talking about James Comey, right, or John Brennan, or anybody who clearly was trying to manipulate the whole government apparatus. In the end, no, nothing happens. He will be, because the media will not pursue this, right? So with the Fauci diaries, ABC, NBC, CNN, CBS, you go down the line, they will not cover this story. And if they don't, then therefore, he gets off. And that's just the way it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Joe Concha speaking with us right now. Let's shift gears here before we let you go and talk about the audio that has been released from her tapes, the ones that resulted in him saying no prosecution here because he's an elderly man with a poor memory. You want to talk about legacy destroying? I don't really know what Joe Biden's legacy was that could be destroyed. I can't really think of many positive things that are existence in his legacy other than just the accomplishment of reaching the presidency. But do you feel as though the release of these tapes is going to have an impact at all politically on our climate here in 2026?
All right. So the answer is it should.
Yeah.
The reality is it won't. Of course it won't. So in the end, Joe Biden got away with obviously being somebody who his brain turned to applesauce like well before 2024. Yet nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Nothing is going to happen to Hunter Biden. Nothing will happen to Hillary Clinton. Nothing will happen because that's where we are at this point as a country. There are no consequences. Everybody gets away with everything, and I'm sure people listening out there are like, this is screwed up, but you know what? That's the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Yeah, the Fox News report on this, 2023, Her was investigating Biden for retaining classified information. At the center of the investigation were these audio tapes of Biden from interviews with his, quote, "Promise Me Dad" memoir Ghostwriter from 2016 and 2017. When he was the listening of these tapes in 2016 and 2017 results in Her's assessment that he's an elderly man with a poor memory. Can you reconcile that with people who throughout his administration, 2016 and 2017 tapes going all the way into being elected in 2020, inaugurated in 2021, president through 2024. So many of the staffers are like, we had no idea. We can't keep up with him. The level of deceit, either inference that we are as stupid as they need us to be, or maybe they were just that stupid. How do you reconcile all of that?
You can't. Annie, that's the bottom line. There is no common sense anymore with anything. And that's where we are at this point.
Well, Joe Concha, we appreciate your time this afternoon. We got a crazy heat wave here in the Midwest. Hopefully you're staying cool wherever you are. It's nasty. They said the temperature the other day here, it was like a heat wave of like 130. And we were saying it's like the national debt. It's like, why stop there? What's another trillion? What's another 20 degrees? Give me a break.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, we got AC. We're okay. Thanks for being with us, Joe. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Let's take a quick break here. The YouTube live chat poll. How much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? Do you not care at all? Do you completely care? It's the most important thing. Or maybe you think Fauci's a hero. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey to vote and to comment. And you can text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797. Along with the Annie Frey Show text line, we will do X's and Y's as we do at 2:30 on Tuesdays. We'll discuss the differences between boys and girls and get to the bottom of why are men like that and why do women always do this. We'll talk about it with your questions in the text line, 314-241-9797. We'll be right back. The Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com. I encourage you to go to their website to learn about this event that we have coming up here. It is on Tuesday, August 11th. And I'm going to be there. I get there at 6 o'clock. The event officially starts at 6:30, and we hand it over to the Kershaws. Bob and Tammy, wonderful, knowledgeable, incredibly helpful people to push you into a comfortable place, to encourage you to understand the answers to the questions that you know you need to ask and some that you don't even realize are on the table. That gives you that peace of mind that when you finally pull the trigger on moving into retirement, you've got the answers, the peace of mind, and the excitement that retirement should deliver. After all, you've worked really, really hard for this. So the event is at the DoubleTree in Chesterfield. It's maybe 45 minutes of your time from the time it starts at 6:30. They do not keep you all evening. It's free. There are snacks, and I'd be there, and Mark will be there as well. On August 11th, it's a Tuesday. We need you to reserve your spot. Please come see me. I'd love to see you and learn about retiring, getting that transitionary period in lockstep so that you're confident when that time comes. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Look them up online at retirementkey.com.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Brian Kilmeade. You know, I always have a great time when I visit you guys, and I'm coming back this November. So join me, Brian Kilmeade, by getting tickets for the show at The Factory at 971talk.com/events.
Homeowners, a lot of you are worried about one thing when it comes to selling. That's leaving money on the table. Hey, it's Mark Cox, and I'm with Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, how do you help sellers make sure they're getting top dollar?
The reality is, most homes don't sell for what they should. I see it happen all the time. They either price it wrong or they don't create enough demand. But with over 2,400 buyers in my buyers in waiting database and my exclusive pricing strategy, I'm able to offer my sellers seller a 100% market value guarantee. And if I can't get you 100% of your home's market value, I'll pay you the difference. So you don't have to wonder if you left money on the table. You can sell with confidence, knowing you maximize your sale.
Make sure you get every dollar for your home. Call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Every trip to the grocery store costs more. Insurance premiums keep climbing. You're working harder, but your paycheck isn't going as far. Missouri families deserve a state senator who's focused on making life more affordable. Mike Deering is fighting to lower costs for working families by cutting unnecessary regulations, reducing insurance costs through common-sense legal reforms, supporting good-paying Missouri jobs, and standing up for Missouri's farmers and small businesses. Mike Deering's conservative approach has earned the endorsement of the Missouri Farm Bureau and the Missouri Chamber PAC. Because Mike Deering will fight to strengthen Missouri's economy and help families keep more of what they earn. It's time for conservative leadership focused on lower costs, stronger communities, and a more affordable Missouri. Paid for by the Missouri Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kara Korchis, President and CEO.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Virtually everyone, Republican or Democrat, liked Lindsey. Well, not everybody, but it sounds good. Not everybody. He was a tough cookie, okay? I have to veer from this for a second. He was a tough cookie, Darlene, but he was beautiful. But he was also ready with a joke and a gleam in his eye after being lectured on the excruciating details of patent.
So you got President Trump at the funeral for Lindsey Graham, and I gotta go back here. I'm just gonna look at it here. I'm not gonna play it again, but yeah, he's reading. This is Ryan. This is the same thing when Trump would say he'd be giving a speech. It'd be a written speech, and he'd say something because he's reading it from the teleprompter or his notes, and after he read it, he'd pause and go, "That's true." And he'd affirm. And I just want to be like, if you don't affirm something, are we questioning the validity or the strength of whatever it is that you're saying there? So you can watch, if you see this clip, he's
Republican or Democrat
reading his notes.
Lindsey, well, not everybody.
And he's like, that's what I like about him so much, because to be sitting in the Washington National Cathedral with the reposed body of the late Senator Lindsey Graham, to say that everybody liked him. Every single person in that room knows that there are people in that room that hate them. So to suggest that everybody loved Lindsey Graham, I think maybe you could say people respected him. But nobody in Washington, D.C. is loved by everybody in Washington, D.C. That's not the point. And if you are loved by everyone, you're probably not getting elected because you're not out there enough.
Well, he was pretty well personally liked, I think, he was kind of like Rubio, where people behind the scenes go, well, I may disagree with your politics, but I like the guy. Seems like that was Lindsey Graham. But I'll tell you what, different point here, but there are going to be a lot of things after 2028 that we will look back on for the rest of our lives. Those of us who live a long time after Trump, who look back on the Trump era, and things will look different than they do now, of course, obviously. But one of the things I think everybody will eventually, even as haters, will eventually be able to agree with is that, man, it was kind of refreshing to have a politician for a while, because we won't always have this, who you kind of knew what he was thinking about anything at any given moment. because that won't be the case forever. He's rare in that sense.
You mentioned Marco Rubio approved for the Secretary of State position 99-0.
Yeah.
One senator not voting because it was J.D. Vance, who had just become the vice president.
Oh, no kidding.
So 99, he got 99 votes, but a vice president wasn't one. There are people in Washington, D.C. who have that level of respect among their peers, but also without sacrificing the respect of the constituents that they represent. I am trying to think of other people in D.C. Like maybe Joe Kennedy has that. John Kennedy.
Oh, John Kennedy.
There's so many.
I don't know I've never heard people say off the record, boy, I really like John Kennedy, but I've never heard anything bad about him either.
I feel like Kennedy would be respected.
Yeah.
Across the board.
There's a Democrat senator that people say they tend to like. Is it Chris Coons?
Yeah, he's the one they put on Fox News to be a Democrat on Fox
Oh,
News.
okay.
Like he often
That
goes out
makes
there.
sense.
He seems like he is a respectable person. I would imagine that Dick Durbin is probably kind of a little more old school. To me, it feels very much like pre or post influencer land.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because what is influencing? It's about me.
Getting attention.
How do I get people to click, to like, to react, to comment by becoming an influencer? And I also will say at the same time, I don't think politics exists in the future if you're not capable of doing that. You don't have to be the one who's sitting there, obviously, editing, writing, whatever it might be. But the better your person-to-person social media game is, the better you're going to be able to communicate with your hopeful voters and then eventually your constituents should you win.
Especially if you're not in a hard right or hard left state. Like if you are, Tammy Duckworth or something of Illinois, I don't think you really have to connect with anybody because you are just going to win. Some of these senators and congressmen, they don't really have to work very hard outside the primary, and then once they're in, they're in. But anybody who has any sort of contention in getting reelected, for sure, you have to have some sort of message and ability to connect with people.
I do find it, if I'm talking about having a good social media game, I don't know why the Republicans seem to be better at this en masse than the Democrats. Can't take anything away from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is where she is because she understood that. I mean, social media and video is a way to connect with people. It's personal. All of my social media, we put videos up after the show, and obviously we're live streaming. We read those comments. I often am replying directly back to people when you're saying hateful things to me, when you're saying nice things to me, or the most desirable comments is about the content, but that's not always the way it goes. I get to talk to you. You're sitting in the car listening to this radio show. I'm speaking to two people in this room, but, all of the St. Louis listening area, and then everybody who wants to pull it up on our listening streaming app or stream us on YouTube or podcast us later. Social media makes it so that you can react to something that happened here, and I can talk to you. That's not something that has been that accessible with radio up until the last maybe decade or two. And politics is going to be the same way. To communicate directly to your constituents or to your elected officials, it's really important that people flex on that. I don't know that Lindsey Graham had a social media game, but it seemed to me like wherever he was so into traditional media and he did so many media hits. Sean Hannity is eulogizing him right now at this ceremony that is being covered and carried. I don't know. I wonder if all the other networks are covering it. I'm gonna peek in here. I wonder if they're covering Sean Hannity talking about Lindsey Graham on MS Now. I guarantee you. I say this before I even look. I bet they are monitoring the situation.
You think there's a little something in the corner?
Yes, I'm looking it up right now because I can't help myself. The future of this and really most things, even if it's in your profession, whatever it might be, if you're dealing with people, you're going to need to be able to connect with them. And it's not like social media is going to go away. So we will continue to monitor the situation.
We're just going to do the same thing.
Yeah. In the 2:00 hour, we'll have Ethan Sports and Local at 2:18. But at 2:30, we're going to have X's and Y's, my favorite segment, I think, that we do. I love this segment.
it's always pretty good. I mean, even our worst segments are still not bad.
The thing that I like about it the most is when listeners text us their questions.
Which, do that now.
314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, because we often very much so pull from our personal lives to discuss, how things may or may not go, but bringing in folks like you and asking those questions, completely and totally would love to have your contributions. 314-241-9797. I can not confirm what MS Now is doing on this because they're in a commercial break.
Oh, okay.
For AARP.
You'll have to stick around through our commercial break to find out.
I'm not going to stick around. I'll stick around for this show and your X's and Y's questions when we come back. The YouTube poll, go vote there and send us your texts and thoughts on this as well. How much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? We'll be right back.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website. If you have a compromised foundation in your home, work, business, church, whatever it might be, you need experts to fix this. This is not the time to, scrimp and try to do it yourself or whatever. You need an expert at least to look at it and tell you what you're dealing with. Matt Hayes is waiting for that phone call. 314-271-9900. We are happy to partner with somebody we trust to turn over to you to look at your basement, to look at maybe that hairline wall crack that you've seen in your plaster and you realize, gosh, this might be coming from some foundation settling. We need to get this looked at. But where do we go and who can we trust? I want to encourage you to give Matt Hayes the opportunity to earn that from you at 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Home Shield Foundation Repair is a trusted name in the game when it comes to foundation restoration and repair. You can learn everything about the services they provide when you visit them online. Visit HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
You know the feeling. That rush when you reach that goal. Make somebody brag a little back home. That's success. And at University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why UMGC offers an accredited skills-based education that helps move your career forward. We'll teach you how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science, plus build your skills in leadership, communication, and critical thinking. Explore more than 100 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. With affordable and online programs, you can unlock new opportunities to help you succeed again. At UMGC, success is yours for the taking and the making, and nothing should keep you from it, especially not an application fee. Apply now and we'll waive your application fee. Classes start August 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
A giant of the U.S. Senate, Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's part of President Trump's tribute to Senator Lindsey Graham.
He was a man who gave America the full measure of his good and mighty heart until that heart itself just gave out.
The president at a funeral underway in Washington's National Cathedral.
No matter how heated things got in Washington, virtually everyone, Republican or Democrat, liked Lindsey. Well, not everybody, but it sounds good. Not everybody. He was a tough cookie, okay? I have to veer from this for a second. He was a tough cookie, Darlene. but he was beautiful.
Referencing Senator Darlene Graham, the sister who's finishing Lindsey's term, also calling him a force of nature and adding he'll miss him. This follows a ceremony earlier today in the Capitol Rotunda. Tomorrow, a final service and private burial will be held in South Carolina. Ukraine's President Zelensky and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu traveled to Washington for the funeral, and they each met earlier with President Trump, the first meeting for Netanyahu since the U.S. and Israel launched attacks on Iran. And as Ukraine's fight with Russia continues, President Zelensky posting an Oval Office photo and saying his meeting included discussion of licensing to build Patriot missile interceptors. It's Election Day in South Dakota, where Republicans are still picking a nominee for governor in a scramble that began when Kristi Noem left to be DHS secretary.
Lieutenant Governor Larry Roden assumed the position, but neither he nor businessman Toby Doden won a four-way primary outright. Only registered Republicans are allowed to vote. Roden is a rancher and welder. Doden says he was born in poverty but climbed out by salesmanship and risk-taking through real estate and Bitcoin.
Fox's Therese Crowley, the winner of today's runoff, faces Democrat legislator Dan Ullers in November. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
There is good news as a cool front comes through as we go through the afternoon. Now, it's still kind of hot and humid going through the afternoon, partly sunny skies, but that front could pop a couple of thunderstorms. 93 for the high. It gets better tonight. Some clouds, spot storms, 71. Even better Wednesday, sunny, lower humidity, lower temperatures, 89. Do that again on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
For the sake, Beth, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show, the YouTube live chat poll. How much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? We're taking your thoughts and reactions on the Annie Frey YouTube chat, as well as the text line. Also, your questions for about 25 minutes from right now when we do X's and Y's, talking the difference between men and women, boys and girls. 314-241-9797 to text us there. There are some questions about, we were talking about Marco Rubio in light of the funeral that's taking place right now for Senator Lindsey Graham. Marco Rubio being approved 99-0, and I said it was because J.D. Vance was the vice president, so he didn't vote. And then some people were saying, no, it was because Marco Rubio was in the Senate, and he didn't vote for himself. He actually did vote for himself. And I confirmed at Senate.gov on that particular vote because I thought, okay, maybe Google got that wrong when I mentioned it before. On the nomination of Marco Rubio of Florida to be Secretary of State, 99 yeas, 0 nays. Rubio is a yes vote. Is it? I mean, why wouldn't you vote for yourself? I think that's kind of cool. It might be the coolest vote I took.
Especially if it was the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Vance not being on the list as the vice president. So I think that would be because, well, I don't know. When that Rubio would have still been in the Senate until he left the Senate to become Secretary of State. at that point, on January 20th, 2025, Vance would have been the vice president at that point, so no longer in the Senate.
Yeah, because they'd have to be confirmed to nominate him.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't think we need to cover any more of this funeral. I'm watching the niece of Senator Graham speaking right now, but I do want to ask you on this day, Darlene, which is just a great name. Bring that name back. We need more Darlenes in the world. Isn't the world better when you're with Darlene?
Definitely feels like you're out in the country. That's a country name.
Or South.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about her being kind of the heir apparent to the seat and deciding to run?
I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about it one way or the other. I don't love the sort of just that's the automatic thing to do. But unless somebody was protesting it really hard, I guess I don't have any major problem with it. I remember thinking that when Mel Carnahan died, that I just didn't love that it was just like, oh, his wife. Like, well, why? Does she have the credentials to do that? Or are we just being sentimental? That was my problem with it.
It is the people's seat. It is the people's representation. It doesn't belong to a family or monarchy or whatever. But I almost feel like, especially for the completion of his term, that doing it this way, if she has the chops to, if she's been invested, we don't know a lot about the Graham family tree per se. But I do believe that the bickering fight that would take over the nominate, it would throw the whole political apparatus in South Carolina into tilt so much that it would be so much more detrimental than just being like, you guys can have the fight over how the seat goes after an election when the people get it. But for now.
And that's why I said I haven't heard a lot of loud protests to it.
Yeah.
I will say that in a case like Ron DeSantis, when his wife, Casey DeSantis, was going to run for governor, I thought that was completely fine because
she's running.
She was running. And she actually looks like she's not going to be the governor because
she never ran.
Byron Donalds. Oh, she dropped out because she wasn't.
She never declared.
Oh, I thought she had declared, but she just never really got any traction.
No,
but I'm probably wrong. But I know that she was talking about it, or they were talking about it, and then didn't do it. But that, to me, is the way it's supposed to go, is you say, well, maybe throw my hat in the ring. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
Or if you lose, you lose.
Because if the people do want to, if people were like, Ron DeSantis is termed out, Casey DeSantis would be a great fill-in for, we want that. The people she shouldn't be withheld from the people of Florida in order to do that. She did not. I'm looking it up here on Google. Served as a close political advisor and media strategist for her husband. Addressed persistent rumors about a potential run with ambiguous public statements, but never mounted an actual campaign.
She never did it. Okay.
No. Which to me, a lot of it is there a groundswell of support? And if I truly believe that Ron DeSantis's national runway still exists very comfortably, and anything that he does to poke at or prod at Donald Trump's stranglehold on the Republican Party right now is it for him. There's no way that anyone can say, like, if your position on Ron DeSantis having a future in Republican politics is that he is DOA because he has challenged Donald Trump in the past, you have not yet met Vice President J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance called Trump Hitler. And it's a PowerPoint now for Donald Trump to talk about how he changed his mind. I mean, think about the ability for President Trump to change people's minds if their minds are open. Also, understanding that President Trump's initial introduction to American politics, after having been known as a widely loved and respected and envied real estate tycoon, billionaire playboy of sorts in New York City, but known in the entertainment space by all the nooks and crannies of that world. They loved him. He ran for president as a Republican. They made up a whole bunch of crap about him. And there are a lot of people who still cling to complete and total lies as their foundational understanding of who President Trump is. J.D. Vance has come out and said, yeah, I said that stuff, and I was wrong, and I had my opinion changed on it. Marco Rubio, Lil Marco, small hands, blah, 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 over and over and over again. Marco Rubio went head to head to tell the American people why Donald Trump was not the right person for the job in 2016. And he is, according to President Trump's own word, the most successful and effective Secretary of State this country has ever had. That's things that he said right now. So to suggest that Ron DeSantis is out on the outs for good is you're not paying enough attention. That doesn't mean that Ron DeSantis couldn't make stupid decisions, but putting Casey DeSantis in that race when Byron Donalds is the one who has been endorsed by Donald Trump, I believe, in Florida, but kind of the guy who is being supported by the mass movement. It just seems to me like that would not be something that they would want to do. But if you let people talk about it and keep asking you the questions about it, what's it hurt?
Theoretically, if Ron DeSantis had not run for president in 23-24, do you think that he could have been a VP pick? I know they're from the same state, so I don't know if that would have run into anything.
Yeah. I think he'd have been a great VP pick.
But do you think Trump would have actually seriously considered him? Because I think they got along really well up until they were, with their adversaries for a little bit.
I think that anything is possible. I don't feel like Trump's number one thing is loyalty. And loyalty is kind of a funny thing because he wants it. If he doesn't have it from you, but he can earn it from you, he's open to that. So you can be on the other side of an issue and go toe-to-toe with him. Good grief. He had Mark Cuban in the Oval Office, and they were championing together lowering the cost of prescription drugs, which is something that Mark Cuban separately had been spending time and effort on trying to make prescription drugs more affordable for American people. And he and Trump see eye to eye, and they basically both joke the entire time about how ridiculous it is that they're working together on an issue. But they were both big enough to say, let's do something together on this issue that we both care about. The Democrats don't do that. I've got a article that I'm going to publish on my Substack here in the next 24 hours. It's all about how Donald Trump has completely and totally remade the Republican Party. But it's more important that he has completely and totally remade the Democrat Party. And the reason why that is, the reason why you're seeing the left, the progressive left, with the stranglehold on the Democrat Party is because any common sense that exists with the Democrats, there's like those 13 people who came out and said, we're Democrat capitalists or capitalist Democrats. There are so many things that this populist president, so many policies, so many ideas that he's had, that when he comes out with them, a whole bunch of common sense Democrats can be like, okay, well, that's not so bad. But none of them will say it publicly. None of them will come out and say, that's a great idea and I'd like to support that. They would have 20 years ago. We know this because the Democrats who won't say anything like that right now, like Chuck Schumer, like Barack Obama, like Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, go on and on and on with the people who are at the top of the Democrat Party power structure. You can play their own words, and those are the policies that Donald Trump is implementing today. But the worst thing that a Democrat can do right now is publicly do anything that would even brush up shoulders with something Donald Trump is trying to accomplish. So what happens if you have a populist and capitalist kind of tendency, but still have a hard on your sleeve political ideology that leans left and, you're not interested maybe in maybe you're more libertarian on a lot of issues, or maybe a little bit more progressive, especially on a lot of the social issues, or maybe you think that the government doesn't need to do everything for everybody, but could do more. And you're a Democrat, and you know that the president lowering prescription prices is something that should align exactly with what your policies are on the left. Trump accounts, good grief. I think that there should be moderate Democrats who are more supportive of Trump accounts than some of the hard and fast fiscal conservative Republicans. But they can't do it. Because that would have to give even the smallest inch of credit, accolade, affirmation that Donald Trump isn't a screw-up from the top to the bottom, that he isn't the most evil person to ever grace the office of the presidency, that maybe every once in a while, a broken clock is right a few times a day. They can't do that. And in ceding the ground to offer President Trump any sort of accomplishment on any issue whatsoever, the common sense people in the Democrat Party have been silent. And the loud, squeaky wheels that are so far in the progressive left that they now, it's interesting to me, they're the Democratic Socialists. They use Democratic as the adjective for the noun that they are, which is socialists. They're not the socialistic Democrats. They're the Democratic Socialists. They're telling us right to our face what they want to do. And they started in 2008 when they said they wanted to fundamentally transform the United States of America. They've been telling us the whole time exactly what they want to do. And we're all sitting here going, they won't do that. But they are. Those people who used to be, the crazy person here and all that person, they're a socialist. Oh, no, they're actually a socialist. They have organization. They have New York City. They've taken New York City. And the people who are absolutely not Republicans, the people who are absolutely blue through and through, Democrats who don't want to be socialists, don't want to be communists, can't speak up because it might possibly affirm that Donald Trump is doing anything right. So they've been silent, which is how the socialists are taking over the Democratic Party. So yes, while Donald Trump has remade the Republican Party from top to bottom in his 10 plus years of being in politics, the consequence of how he's remade the Democrat Party is way more impactful in the future of this country politically, from a governing standpoint, and so on and so forth. Because one thing or the other is going to be true. The socialists are going to fully take over the Democrat Party and find power enough to influence the direction of this country, or the Democrat Party will devour itself from within, and common sense Republicans can seize the day and the midterms and the 2028 presidential election. I lean that that's the outcome. That's what I would like to have. But because of Donald Trump being who he is, because he's had success in who he is, and because he has somehow infiltrated the innermost thoughts and hearts of Democrats, they can't do anything that would make it look like that man has done something good, which is where those middle ground common sense issues really lie. If they won't speak up like Fetterman does, Fetterman, people talk about him potentially becoming a Republican. He's not a Republican. He's a Democrat. He's just not a lunatic. He's not a socialist. He's not a communist. And he looks like a crazy person. And Republicans are like, you can come be over here. We'll take you. Vote with us enough. Well, it's better than the alternative. The fork in the road for Republicans under the presidencies of Donald Trump is consequential. But what he has done to the Democratic Party, almost insurmountable. YouTube poll for today: how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? Not at all. Completely invested. You think Fauci's a hero? Top to bottom, you let us know what you think on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You can comment there. You can also text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797. Plus, send us your text messages asking questions for the 2:30 segment. X's and Y's. 314-241-9797. We'll be right back.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns, not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, End quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job. Cut the Bull PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
With Ethan the Hair Henneford.
The hair. Beautiful hair. Flowy.
We don't talk about Stranger Things much these days.
Hair.
No, it just kind of like, it ended and it's like, all right.
That was
some
it.
people liked it, some people really hated it, and that was that.
Sports and local.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. I was literally going to just not talk until you said it. So
Okay. That's why I'm here.
I really don't want to talk about the Cardinals. So I'm just going to mention that.
How would you rate Stranger Things on the whole as a season out of 10?
Yeah, sure. Let's just not talk about the
The
Cardinals.
final season or
Just
the
whole
show?
thing, the series.
Oh, I think it's a what's the scale?
10.
I would say it's a 9.
It's very up. It's high up there.
So whether you loved it or hated how it ended, you don't regret it.
Nah,
I don't think so. I mean, it was so stretched out that
yeah,
you could watch the first 4 seasons of the show, not even really get to season 5, I think, and still say, yeah, it was a pretty darn good show.
Are the Cardinals going to make the playoffs? Stranger things have happened.
Nice.
Ring the bell.
Oh,
could the Cardinals make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Still could technically happen. I mean, they are only a game and a half out of the wild card, so you know, who am I after the first half that they had to say that the Cardinals couldn't get hot, win a handful of games here down the stretch, and end up being a wild card team? I'm not willing to say that that's out of the cards.
Because who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah, who are you really?
Who am I? I'm a nobody. But the pace, the direction in which things are going right now,
Ethan,
I
you're
would
not
say
a nobody.
The odds.
Ryan, tell him.
No, thank you.
What? You can't abstain.
Yes, I can. He agrees, though.
Ethan's great.
He's the first person that said it in the segment. He goes, who am I?
In the segment?
Yeah.
What about out of the segment?
Well, I say it outside the segment.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. The Cardinals are now 53-53. 500 for the first time since...
Have we ever been sub?
This year, yes. For early in the year.
Yeah.
First time that they have been 500 since they were 8-8 at the beginning of the season. So last night, lost to the Cubs, 7-3 was the final score. Matthew Liberatore was not good, and that's about all that there is to say about that.
We all have bad days at our job.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, tell us about your bad day at your job.
I want to hear about this.
Tell us about a time where it didn't go well.
One time when I was working in TV.
No, talk about this show.
Oh, this.
No, wait, tell me. Oh, wait a second. Tell the time that you were raising money at a Christian radio station.
No, I'm going to tell a different story.
Okay, we can maybe do. We have time for both.
I was working in TV once, and it was my birthday.
Yeah.
And they sent me out on my first commercial television shoot by myself. Have I told this one?
Mm-mm.
Maybe.
I know it, but that doesn't mean that everybody listening does.
And I showed up, and the batteries for all the cameras were dead. And I was like, what? Why? Why are all the camera batteries dead? And I'm here to shoot this commercial, and it was like a hair salon, and they had everything ready to go. And I had to tell them, I don't have the ability to shoot this commercial today. And they're like, ooh, they were mad. They were very mad.
But it was your birthday. Did you tell them that?
No, I didn't tell them that. And
I know
so
this is bad for you, but it's my birthday.
I went, yeah. And I went back to the station, and I was like, why are all the batteries dead? And they're like, I don't know. That's your job. It's like, no.
Were they wrong?
Is it actually your job?
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like
Yes.
the last person who used the camera would take the battery and plug it in, and they
Mm-hmm.
just didn't. And I'm
Seems
like,
like the next person who used the camera would check it.
I guess you're supposed to the day before.
You gotta
How old
talk-
were you?
I was 23, maybe.
seventh
you were a
birthday.
baby.
Yeah.
Talk real quick before we go about the time you were bad at your job where you were supposed to be raising money and you gave out the number to call to
Okay.
donate. Do you know the story, Ethan?
Mm-mm.
So when I
good.
was working at Joy FM, we had switched over from the station had grown, and so we switched to a new phone number that would allow more lines because we had, when you're doing the telethon,
Sure.
I think we only had like 5 to 8 lines at one time, and during the busiest parts of the day, all the lines would be jammed, and you're
Right.
like, well, you can't have that happen.
Sure.
To do
Yeah,
a
that's what you
telethon.
want.
Makes sense.
And so we had to go up to 20 lines, but to do so, you had to change the phone number. And we were like, oh, no, because we had gotten so used to saying the old number.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to give the number one time, the new phone number, but I mixed it up with the old one. And I guess the number I gave was a sex line.
It was a combined.
It was a combined
It was an
number
adult
between the
number.
old and the new one.
It was
And
an
I didn't
adult
realize
number.
it because you get so used to saying it. And I said it.
But to show how good Ryan was at his job, people called.
They did call that number, and they heard us give the real number and called back and said, hey, I think maybe the one you gave right before the break was the wrong number.
Poor 71-year-old Dolores calling.
know.
Yeah.
Darlene.
Or maybe she
Hey
No,
there,
no, 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 no,
hey
no, no,
there,
no, no, no.
Dolores.
No.
I'm feeling lonely today.
How'd you know my name?
Caller ID.
Sports and local.
Oh, sports and local.
We'll do more how Ryan was bad at his job stories later.
I like
Yeah.
those.
If you
Could
really
probably
like
fill
him,
up a whole show with those.
we need the feedback. So send it to the text line so Ryan can read it.
Yeah.
A whole best of Ryan's worst moments.
Well, we're getting some good X's and Y's questions. by the
Good.
way.
Keep them coming. 314-241-9797. Ethan.
One of downtown St. Louis's most historic pieces of public art is set for a major restoration
The Arch?
next month. No, not the Arch. The Edison Brother Building's original, oh God, this is a big fancy French word, Trompe-l'oeil, huh? Ryan, what do you think? What does that look like to you?
You know, number one
Right
rule
there.
in broadcasting
It
is to
says-
say
right
it
there.
with confidence, and nobody knows the difference.
That says Trampy L'Oreal.
Okay.
It's definitely not what it says.
Don't call the next phone number Ryan gives out. Or do.
Well-
I'm not here to judge you.
It's the big painting on the side of the building off of 64 that has like the statue where the arms are really
yeah,
wide.
yeah.
It's kind of close to the Enterprise Center.
It's like
That's the one.
It's like orange and
Yes.
pale green.
Yeah.
Isn't that the side of a hotel?
I don't know.
I think it's a red lion.
I don't think it's a red lion, but all right.
No, not the picture.
Oh.
the hotel.
The hotel's called the Red Lion.
Yes.
It's not,
I was like,
it's
right.
not red
that's
and
a
it's not a
person,
lion.
And I'm pretty sure the painting's
It's green and it's a lady. X's and Y's coming up next.
Sports and local.
Painted by artist Richard Haas in 1984. It is set for a vibrant restoration as part of an $81 million renovation project. It is also known as the Apotheosis of St. Louis mural. It depicts aspects of the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair and features the image of King Louis the Ninth, based on the statue now located in front of the St. Louis Art Museum. So this is going to be going on this upcoming month. And I don't know. It doesn't say what exactly it's going to look like at the conclusion. But it's expected to reopen in the fall of 2027. So this is not just a small little couple week thing. This is going to take a full year.
All right. Hope it looks great.
That's a weird thing to be updating because everybody, once you describe it, has seen it, probably can bring up the memory of what it is. But nobody ever talks about that mural.
No, it just exists.
It's just there.
It exists.
Oh, it's important to mention also, Annie Frey,
Yes.
that this segment is sponsored by All Financial.
Yeah. Get your sponsors removed.
Sponsored by All Financial. We appreciate you guys for putting your name on this segment. Very, very
All right,
thankful.
that was a good decision they made.
When I screw up stuff with the sponsors, you guys talk about it for years.
At least I didn't accidentally.
Gosh, no.
You want to talk about Daisy
give
been bad
out
at
a
your job?
sex line number on a Christian radio station.
Yeah. That's followed me to multiple stations now.
You know why? Because you keep telling the
Have you
story.
gotten hired anywhere else?
Oh, my gosh. X's and Y's, 314-241-9797. Text us your questions. We'll be back.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people, and the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair governance.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group, to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet August 11th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, August 11th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you're a business or brand that's still paying for ads people skip or ignore, that's cute. Try a new method of advertising your customers can't mute. Join our mobile movement so you don't get left in our dust, because stationary billboards are a bust. Big, bold, loud, and in-your-face advertising that doesn't wait for traffic. We drive through it, bringing your business or brand right to your customers' eyes. You can't delete it. You can't trash it or swipe right. Hell, you can't even ignore it. The answer? The moving billboards, baby. We circulate around any high-traffic venue, capturing people's attention when they're making decisions. Inside stadiums, big brands compete for attention, but outside the stadium, we own the street media. Because in a world that's went mobile, your advertising should too. Try moving billboards. They really work. PinkTiger.ai.
The YouTube live chat poll today, we are talking about Fauci, and we're asking you, how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? Do you not care at all the way up to you are completely invested? And I'm going to tell you right now that I am very invested in this story. Really, really interested to see what happens tomorrow with the testimony. Let us know what you think about this topic today. It is 2:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. X's and Y's. Excited about this segment each week, and your feedback as well, and your questions for the room. We'll decide why men and women are different, how they're different, and get to the bottom of those itching questions that you might have about just why is it like it, the way that it is. You can text us at 314-241-9797. Ryan, you said you have a question first?
I do, but a really good one just came in on the text line that I would rather start with, actually. It says, am I mistaken, or do women need more personal downtime than men?
Oh, that's interesting. How do you quantify the downtime that you need, Ryan, you specifically?
I could be doing things, but I need to be alone. Alone time is what I need to recharge.
I feel like my need for alone time, on the surface, I don't feel like it has to do with being female. I think it has to do with being a mom and an employee and a wife. So, like, how many things are you juggling at any given time? My kids know this. I will pull in the garage after work, maybe even after church on Sunday or something, and I like to sit in the garage in the car. Not running, just sit in the car. It's so quiet and still, and there's this barrier surrounding me, between me and all of the other things, that I need to do, the people who want me to do them. Even if it's just like, Mom, will you watch a movie with me? Or Mom, you want to play a game with me? Like, I love doing all of those things. It's not that I don't want to do them or got to do stuff for the show YouTube channel or the Facebook page or whatever. Like, all of that stuff is on the other side. So the alone time that I need is, generally speaking, in the car. And I can sit in there for 15, 20 minutes, recharge, and then go back in and start checking things off the list.
Speak to the larger question. I'm going to ask it again. Am I mistaken, or do women need more personal downtime than men? Do you think they do?
I think men get more downtime than women.
Because of kids?
I think that children go to mom first as a default. That doesn't mean that's every household and that's only the way it goes. But I think that, kids are smart too, especially as they get older. They know when to ask mom and when to ask dad first. But what,
Oh, yeah, as a former child.
How did you decide? Was there anything that you asked your dad first?
Most things.
Your dad was the first?
Yeah.
Because he was like, yeah, whatever?
More so. I feel like he was always much more likely to say yes to going out and hanging out with this friend, or going and, having a sleepover, or having a friend over to stay the night.
How often was your dad's response, go ask your mother?
I don't know if I could. It was probably like a third of the time.
Yeah.
Between a third and 50%. Now, Mom would always make me do something first. If the answer was going to be yes. It was always, you need to make sure that your room is clean, or that you have done the dishes, or something.
And your dad was like,
just like, no, just let me
just do whatever you want,
yes,
Ethan. Live your
exactly.
life, man.
Thank
Live
you.
it to the fullest.
Yeah, that's how Mom tended to be. Dad would sometimes, say, "Did you ask your mom?" Otherwise, he's just like, "Sure, why not?" Freaking
I don't know. I don't think women need it more than men, but I think women probably have to do more to acquire it than men. Do you agree?
Yeah, although I think they need it more than men, because I think that their time is required more of them than men. So I'm sort of saying the same thing as you, but there is more.
A woman in a household is generally
pull
more
on
in
her
demand
time,
from more people. And it's not always like, Mom, I need you to do this thing that's very complicated. It just might be time spent.
Yeah.
And dads certainly have that as well in different capacities, but I think that it might go to her first.
Especially if you have kids and both parents work full time. I do think the kids want more attention from mom when not at work. I'm going to ask this question because I think it is probably a legitimate question, although a little crass.
Okay.
Why'd you say it like that?
Jeff asks on the text line.
Hi, Jeff.
By the way, 314-241-9797.
giving
979.
Hold
Hold
his phone
on.
number.
Wait, now let me clarify. That's our actual number.
Yeah, it's not
That's
Jeff's
not a mix-up of
Well, if
something
you
else.
text
or-
Jeff, I will see it, and I can maybe communicate that to Jeff.
What do you want to know, Jeff?
Jeff wants to know, do most women fart as much as men?
Good question.
How would we possibly know?
Well, I think men generally, on behalf of men, I'm going to say this. Men have no idea if women ever pass gas.
It's very true. It's very true.
And so
'Cause they're
that's why I
ladies.
think this is a legitimate question because we don't know. Like, is there something anatomically that makes women not actually do that? Are men's diets worse? Or are
Keep
women
going.
just that good at hiding it? I really don't know. And I kind of am interested. Thank you, Jeff.
Dale says yes, they do. Dale doesn't sound like a lady, so I don't know that Dale on the YouTube chat is really speaking from a place.
No, that's my Aunt Dale.
Okay, sorry, Auntie. Dale,
Aunt D.
big gas passer.
Oh, yeah. She'll really let some.
Aunt Dale sounds like she farts a lot.
I don't think that women pass gas as much as men do. I think men look forward to the next one.
That's the thing is that especially within the household, men are like, here we go. Like they make it a production sometimes, whereas women will never do that. And sometimes even in public.
Let's be real. As much as men feel like farts are always funny, you don't want her to be doing that.
No,
for sure. It's disgusting.
You don't want that.
It's a sicko.
No.
You know, like, what's wrong with you? Why'd you fart?
The truth is, Jeff, that the reason why it works the way it works is because men don't really want women to be farters.
Correct.
And women don't want to be farters. So the classy and appropriate thing here is to not talk about Fight Club or Fart Club.
But let's really get an answer. Like, Annie, how many times do you fart a day?
That's what I was trying to avoid.
I've never done it before.
I'm being very kind here, and you were not. I'm going to try to
How many
avert
times
the
do you
question
think
for,
here?
for Annie.
Yeah, thanks.
What do we set the over-under at?
Ryan is legitimately uncomfortable on my behalf.
I am because I know that that's a question. I'm putting myself in my wife's shoes and knowing if I were to ask her that question on the radio,
She'd be mortified.
She'd be like, no.
Yeah, but that's because she doesn't either.
Correct. That's right. Just ringing it.
She doesn't. I know her. She's my best friend.
Do you guys text about this subject?
We will the first time that it happens.
Well, I didn't say that you do. I just wondered
because we don't.
If you talk about it, like, hey, Jared just farted. Like you text my wife.
If we talk about our men, and only a man would think that maybe there was one that was worthy of a conversation between their ladies. That there would be an occurrence that would be like, I have to share this with them.
Yes. Yes. My partner is flatulent today.
Do you? Okay, here's a converse question for the men in the room. I don't want to know anything about your personal situation at all. As far as I'm concerned, you guys don't either. But what I don't understand is that it happens as frequently as it does with a sense of pride, but also every time it happens, all the other men collectively shame the farter, and then the shamers will become the farters in no time with great glee and pride.
Yeah.
Why? How?
Yeah. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I don't understand it.
I don't know what that means.
Just watch the movie sometime.
It's a movie. Got it. Good.
Yeah. You don't like it, and then it happens to you, and you go, well, I guess I'm part of the hive now.
Do you do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, dudes are together. Somebody passes some gas. They're proud of it. They think it's funny. Everybody else is like, oh, man, come on. Why did you do that? And then within minutes, it could be everybody switches roles and there's no irony or hypocrisy that is called out. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine women sitting around doing that?
No, I don't want to imagine that.
Because it doesn't happen.
That's right. And I also want to read this text, which I think is from a woman. It says, I don't fart because it's against my religion.
There you go. See? Mm-hmm. Naturally.
What religion is that?
That's what I was wondering.
We're not allowed to talk about it here. Separation of church and state.
We are not state-owned.
Do you have another question?
I do, and this is not from the text line. This is one that came up in my life. My kids run an errand for me. I said, hey, run this payment into a store or something like that. And they came back out and they said, Dad, and they're young, like my 9-year-old. He said that girl was talking about her girlfriend. And they asked me basically about her sexuality. He didn't know that's what he was asking me. But I said, I actually don't know the answer to that, because in my day, when I was younger, girls often would say something like, oh, my girlfriend. But now, do women actually ever use the word girlfriend and mean friend? Or is that a relic?
I was going to say yes, but it's probably generational. It's so commonplace for same-sex couples to exist, even in young kids' lives, in my opinion, where the bisexuality of kids is something that is maybe a little bit rebellious. It's so encouraged, especially in secular spaces, uplifted even, that can happen, and then down the road they're heterosexual, and you would never know that in high school that was what was going on. But I would be hesitant to use that term in this day and age, just as to not confuse people.
That's what I would think.
Because it's normalized so much.
That's actually one that I would ask people to weigh in on with the text line and on the stream. And is it generational? Because I genuinely don't know the answer to that. And I didn't see the lady to know because my son just walked in. So I just didn't know if you ever used the phrase, oh, I'm my girlfriend, if you're a woman, and you're just talking about your friend. I didn't know if people still did that.
I don't think that dudes ever use the term boyfriend.
Never.
There's no crossover for that. Girls will say that quite a bit more, I think, but that's not.
I will around the office talk about Ethan as my boyfriend, guy friend.
This is to me.
That's not. Yeah, I've never heard that. Everything I've heard said male companion.
Is this in front of me or behind my back or what?
Yeah, totally behind your back.
Got it.
All right, let's take a quick break. More of your questions, 314-241-9797, and the results to how much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? We'll be right back. Stewart's American Mortgage is where you go to get the bagel loan. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie and the bagel loan are waiting for your phone call. Tell them Annie sent you. I've used the bagel loan 2 times myself. I'm a happy, satisfied customer. Both times, no closing costs. Lowered my rate both times I used it. The second time we did a cash out refinance on the home. If you are looking to take some equity out of your house for, a pay down for some sort of investment that you're trying to make, a renovation on your home, reach out to Stewie and ask him about the bagel loan. If you are looking for a new home purchase, you're getting a 30-year loan right now with Stewart's American Mortgage. In addition to the bagel loan, you can enjoy a 1% discount on your interest rate for the first year of that new 30-year loan. But you got to connect with Stewie, and you got to do it fast. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie and tell him Annie sent you and ask him how the bagel loan can help you. A reminder, $0 in closing costs. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Mark Cox here. Don't be fooled by those deceptive ads you're hearing on Missouri Amendments 4 and 5. Get the truth. I'll explain all of the amendments and key local races. Download my August voter guide at 971talk.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code. written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So when I was in Central Florida for my vacation a few weeks ago, I thought I wanted to ask you this question, Ryan, because I'm still kind of surprised. The movie Mulan is a movie that I don't know that they would make in 2026, because Mulan is about fighting the Huns and China. And it's about a daughter who goes to war so that her father doesn't have to. So she has to dress up as a man and take his place, but deceive everybody that she is actually a man.
That's not where I thought this was going. I thought you were going to ask whether that movie and Kung Fu Panda, for that matter, are just China money grabs, which
no,
the answer is yes.
I don't know. Mulan's not. Mulan's a good story.
But they're China-based lore, and so they cashed in on Chinese audiences. That's all my point was.
That has nothing to do with what I'm talking
Okay.
about. There's a song in that movie called Be a Man.
Okay.
And I want to read you the lyrics and genuinely ask you if you think that what Donny Osmond sang about in Be a Man
Okay.
are actual attributes that men in 2026 should have and still can have.
Okay.
The song starts, "Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? You're the saddest bunch I ever met, but you can bet before we're through, mister, I'll make a man out of you. Tranquil is a forest, but on fire within. Once you find your center, you are sure to win. You're a spineless, pale, pathetic lot, and you haven't got a clue. Somehow I'll make a man out of you." So the chorus comes in and says, "You must be swift as a coursing river, with all the force of a great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon." So it talks about being swift, having a great force about you, being strong, but also mysterious
And stealthy.
I think that the mystery thing is interesting too. Like, I agree with all of that. I think those are all things that are masculine things. So I kind of think the whole Mulan exists in this Disney woke culture that I think they're kind of starting to get out of, where I'm like, what are you going to do with this one, guys? I'm just sitting here going, I mean, I like the movie. I'm okay with the movie. I think it's a good story, but it's just a story. It doesn't have to be a statement. But do you think that those are still types of things that can be defined as masculine and necessary? Can you be a man, which is the name of the song, without being swift or being a force, strength, mystery, that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, in any generation, you could be a man without having some of those attributes. However, if they're talking just about physical, then I'm a yes. If they're talking about emotional, some of those things you kind of do associate with masculinity. And that being, I don't know if force is the right word, but strength and having a strength of character.
Like an oak tree, like something that is reliable and strong that the people in your orbit can kind of tether to. They can rely on it. You can lean against it because it can take it.
Right. What about mysterious, though?
Oh,
that's not a word that I typically would say, oh, that's a masculine trait.
Do you want to know everything a man is feeling all the time?
No, but is that mystery or is that just discipline?
Both.
I guess it would create mystery.
Yeah.
If you're not talking about yourself a lot.
I think that the mystery that is in conjunction with masculinity, I think, we don't even need to talk about how women talk too much. Well, thank you for listening to the Annie Frey Show. Shut up. I think that if you're around a man who brings confidence and strength into like wherever his presence is, but isn't constantly about himself, that there is mystery around it, and then you get drawn to it because you kind of want to know more because there are things that are left unsaid. When you know everything about someone all the time, we live in a very me culture where it's you got to say everything all the time because you're trying to grab people's attention. The mysterious person gets the attention without begging for it, which I find that to be very masculine.
This person texts in, I'm a fat old man. There is no Swift left.
Okay. All right. But, I mean, are you happy? Maybe if you're an old man, maybe you've accomplished
Swiftness
a thing.
of spirit.
Yeah, sure. Mentally speaking.
Sure.
How much do you care about holding Fauci accountable? 3% of you, yep, that 3%, say accountable. Fauci is a hero. Jeez. 5% say that you could not care less. 24% moderately interested. 67% of the votes today completely invested.
Right on.
You keep it right here on 97.1 FM Talk. That hearing tomorrow is going to be huge. Mark Cox and Mark Reardon on the Annie Frey Show to talk about the amendments tomorrow.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
You can let freedom ring in this 250th anniversary year. Financial freedom, that is.
Financial independence.
Financial planner Ed Jertson defines financial freedom as
to be able to choose what you